yeah. Black on black vibes. Who that on the beat? Okay, still looking like she came from the stars. Stunner body fell down straight from Mars. Tryna see.
Okay,
We
have
are
an intro
good.
topic. Something slide us in.
He asking
Pause.
the difference between diffraction and refraction.
No. You had you guys had the question wrong. I said, what's the difference between? In fact, now I even added a third one. What's the difference between deflection, reflection, and inflection? Is that a word?
Refraction?
Inflection.
Inflection.
Yeah, is that a word?
Yes.
Inflection.
To inflect.
Inflection is a word.
Yes.
To deflect, to reflect, and to inflect.
First of all,
so
let's first
Let me
acknowledge
make sure inflection
how
is
this
a word.
Jesse guy said diffraction.
Yeah, she said refraction.
and refraction, bro, like completely off topic.
Uh,
Okay, I think it depends on the definition depends on which class are we in right now. Are we in English class or are we in physics class?
I feel like the meanings will be the same.
No way.
No.
Because if we're like in English or philosophy, to reflect
To
is
reflect
you
is
can
to, like,
reflect on
think.
like your past, you can reflect on
Okay, you can have
I thought
multiple.
the
This is
question is
multiple.
about physics, not literature. Or
that. He didn't specify.
Okay, let's start with physics.
Voice.
Why me? Why
I don't
me?
know, you're my physics guy.
Nah, relax.
Because, hey, physics used to give me a time.
Nah, we know reflection, bouncing
Reflection
of
of
light.
Yeah.
Is there anything else I can reflect?
Okay,
Sound
he has already,
waves,
he has
sound
already
waves.
said.
Sound waves.
Yes.
Okay, of matter. Let's just let's go with that. Deflection.
As you guys think me, I'll be googling.
I don't think
I'll tell you who's
deflecting.
closest.
To deflect is to pass something onto another person.
Is it? I'd say it's like I threw a ball at the wall and I shot and the bullet deflected off the wall. Or I'd say.
So you're saying
that's
like
more
ricocheting.
ricochet.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah,
ricochet
but
is
I think that
particular
those
for a
are-
gun.
No,
feel like
no,
bullet-
it can be anything.
A bullet deflecting is that particular term is ricochet.
It's not particular to a bullet.
Can anything else ricochet?
Yeah, as long as it
Yeah, I
has
think so.
motion.
But not okay. Hasn't it just deflected?
Technically, yes.
And
But I
then
can
to
also
deflect
deflect.
in English is like when I ask you a direct question, then you kind of
avoid it.
yes, you find out to avoid, you deflect.
Now, to inflect might be the opposite of deflect.
I
Bring
think
in.
when you say inflect, I imagine like introspect. That those two go together. Someone who inflects is introspective. Like it's now you think it's like reflecting is maybe looking back, then this one is looking in. I don't know.
This
Which one?
guy has
Introspect. What are you talking
Inflect.
about?
Inflect.
Inflect.
But is
inflection.
inflect even a word?
It's a word.
Yeah, okay.
It is, eh?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking of inflict also.
that's
Same.
not
Same.
the root word for
Inflect.
That word.
the past of inflicting. Alright, listen. So do you guys want the definitions? Now which one do you want me to start with?
Deflect.
Deflect.
Deflect. Deflection. A turning aside or off course. Or the deviation of an indicator or pointer from zero reading on the scale of an instrument. So I feel like the most commonly used one is a turning aside or off course. The synonyms are departure, deviation, detour, divergence, diversion. To
It has to
deflect,
do with, like,
a turning aside or
You're
off
on a
course.
path like a journey and
Then you go off course.
deflect.
That's why when a guy kicks a ball and hits another guy, the course has changed. So they call it a deflection. Hey. So which one had you said is similar to it? You want me to do ricochet first?
Yeah, let's
or
do ricochet.
ricochet, rebound off a surface. A bullet ricocheted off a nearby wall. Then a noun, a shot or hit that rebounds off a surface. That's a bit different.
You guys were playing that game when we were kids.
Which one? Ricochet.
Yeah.
What is it about?
Nah, man, it's like one of those things where like you have that thing at the bottom, and the ball keeps bouncing around.
What is it? What is it called? Bounce?
It's called bounce. No,
No, bounce
I
was
thought it was called
amaze
the
as
brick
if.
game. Was that the brick breaker or something like
No,
that?
no. This one is you move the bottom thing.
Yeah, and then like a ball keeps coming like
It's
this.
bouncing off you.
But the one I
Know where
played
the
was
ball's
called
going to go.
Ricochet. It was like a spaceship with a shield.
Yeah, you want it to be called deflection.
The deflection, bro.
So what
Alright.
is to inflict?
So inflection, the first one, a change in the form of a word, typically the ending, to express a grammatical function or attitude such as tense, mood, person, number, case, and gender.
Bro, I won't even
A
lie.
set of word forms differing only in respect of inflections.
You
That
lost
makes
me at
sense.
word,
First,
bro.
use it in a sentence.
Thank you.
That was the sentence.
Okay, I'll give you an example. It's like if I was to say,
Oh, this,
"Who are we?"
This
and
this
it's
definition is simpler. The modulation of intonation or pitch in the voice. She spoke slowly without inflection. So, Jesse, you know what that means. Jesse is different from Jesse.
But
You dig? I've changed
a
my
different
but
inflection.
is that not just another, like, a new meaning of the word, or it's what you explained earlier?
No,
'Cause
it's
that
what
doesn't sound
it's
like
the
what you-
mood
what
that
is
that
it?
word expresses
Yeah.
based on how I've finished
Okay.
it.
like I can say we, or we,
We?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or we.
but you
Yeah.
just said the same word 3 times, but different
Okay.
meanings.
So
Okay.
that action.
So it had nothing to do with introspection.
No, inflection is just
Bro.
changing the ending as if sound of the word. You know. Which was the last one? Reflection. The throwing back by a, I said that a bit too much to him. Let me change the inflection, bro. The throwing back by a body or surface of light, heat, or sound without absorbing it. The throwing back by a body or surface of light, heat, or sound without absorbing it.
What's the one that
The
absorbs?
thing is throwing her body back.
You can only reflect light, sound, or heat.
Oh, only those 3.
Only
But
those
you-
three.
Heat.
Without
If it's a
absorbing.
hot babe.
Boy. Then obviously 2, serious thought or consideration. Reflecting.
Reflect.
Can't I reflect lightly? They mean serious consideration.
Can't you reflect what?
Lightly. Like I'm lightly
I think you
That's
refract.
remembering.
Refract light.
You really want refraction badly.
I remember there's one which has
That's
something
giving
to do with like
refraction, bro.
one that the rays were organized, the other one
Then
they're
they go through-
disorganized.
That's refraction.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what we do as human beings.
We refract.
Refraction is when light goes through a different medium, right?
Yeah.
So it changes the direction of the light.
But I also get what
Refraction.
he means by the scattering of the waves.
Okay, let me
There's
let me-
scattering,
let me read refraction
parallel
for you.
waves, light.
The fact or phenomenon of light, radio waves, etc., being deflected in passing obliquely through the interface between one medium and another, or through a medium varying density. Change in direction of propagation of any wave as a result of its traveling at different speeds at different points along the wave front. This is physics, but it's basically what we said.
But that
I
was
remember
a
I got
scattering
picture.
one. There was a scattering one. I promise.
That is
Scattering reflection. Scattered
that's the
reflection.
one of. It's like
I'm
a,
trying
like
to
a
remember what
pyramid.
it
What
is.
is it called?
I think the pyramid. It's when like the light.
The light comes like
at
this.
one
Then
angle, then the other side they're like scattered because like the surface is not smooth.
I'm trying to remember, and I know it
'Cause the
It's
surface
in
is
my
not
head,
smooth.
bro.
Like a mirror, yes. So a mirror has perfect reflection because the light goes at the same angle that it came in, 45 degrees. And the other reflection is not smooth because the angle that it comes in is different from the angle that it.
Bro, physicists, please tell us in the comments.
Yeah,
I'm
fact
not going to
check
scratch
us.
my head for that one. Okay. What's going on, boys? Welcome back to another episode of the Mob Jazz Podcast.
Boys.
It has. Oh, we are joined.
I was
today.
waiting. I was waiting.
We are joined today by our new favorite, Mother, aka Rachel, aka Mother of Foodies,
AKA Mama Food. That's
Mama Food.
That's the one I'm going to kill. That one, no.
Mama
Food is
Food.
too crazy.
Food mama.
Yes. Yeah. So I think Rachel's going to be here for a while. But you can say what up to the audience. Rachel's also working. I think she thinks that the pod is like
By
like a part-time situation, bro.
Okay, we are working also.
And I respect your hustle.
But you also have yours. You also have shit to do.
Fair.
Okay, bro. Before we even go on any further, have you guys looked at the numbers on the pulse thing?
Yeah, I took a peek at them last week. Yeah,
How are we doing?
poor
Not great.
on those numbers.
Not great. I'm not gonna lie. I actually have not looked at the numbers, bro. But from the last time when I looked, which is the last time we told guys to vote, it was not looking cute, bro. I kind of just like.
Bro, it's looking very botty. I won't even lie. Yeah, there's some.
There's a bot man. There's a
There's
bot
a
man
bot
in
man.
there, bro.
There's an Autobot.
Mm.
Like quite literally.
A Decepticon.
And there are also not that many.
Deceptive.
There are actually not any checks and balances on voting. So, yeah, it looks compromised to me. A bit compromised.
And there's no way for us to like complain about it without looking like haters, bro. Yeah. So congratulations to everyone who was nominated, and everyone who maybe we just didn't want it badly enough, bro. Because like I'm sure we know some bot guys.
True.
Yeah.
I can look for some bot.
If it's for bots,
A better bot.
And I know voting ends Thursday, right?
It ends this Thursday.
Yeah.
This Thursday is the 21st.
Is it not?
I don't know, bro.
Yeah, it is.
Yesterday was the 18th.
Today's the 19th.
When are the actual words?
Actually, I have no idea.
And you wonder why no one is
Yeah,
voting for you
listen.
guys. Like, honestly.
Listen. Yeah, man. But I feel like everyone, okay, maybe not everyone who watches has voted, but go and vote because we care. Yeah. Okay.
Are you guys going to talk about your weekends?
Oh, we should talk about our weekends.
Are you? You want?
I feel like me, I have way more than the weekend to get into, bro. I have stuff from the week before that. Oh, also, we need to apologize for not giving you guys a pod last week. But we communicated, didn't we? Did we
I
not?
don't know, man.
You're not supposed to
I don't
communicate, like, you don't
remember. I'm
remember.
sorry.
But guys seem to know, man.
Yeah.
Guys seem to know before we even didn't drop it, bro. So I feel like maybe we communicated.
They knew
Maybe
that
we
no
did.
episode was coming.
I think we did. If I remember properly.
But if we didn't communicate, we apologize.
It's been a long week, man.
We knew we weren't going to record on Tuesday. What was our reason for not recording again?
I think you were in Barra.
I was in Bar. I had caught in Bar on Tuesday. So we couldn't record on Tuesday, but we still gave guys an MJPL, so you guys can go check that out. I think that in the future, bro, if you see us not asking a question, asking guys to like send anonymous questions, just know. There's a chance that you're not getting a
Something
pod
is
that
up.
week, bro.
Or down.
Yeah. But in the future, we're going to try and communicate on the pod before.
But before we even go for, I feel like we need to address this about questions. Someone asked, you guys do not answer our questions.
Okay, so we answer all our questions. It's just that more than half of them are answered in the Patreon. So what can we do, bro? What can we do? Yeah, we have no choice. And we want everyone to ask questions. Otherwise, we'll just tell the patrons to ask questions. But we want everyone to ask questions. And the ones we answer on the main pod are the ones we answer on the main pod. What else can we say?
Do you have any... Sorry, take it off on a tangent. Do you have any of your senses dominant? Would you call your... Like, do you have a dominant sense that you rely on more than others? Of course, other than sight. But
That I rely on.
or that you feel is sharper than...
I know my
Normal.
dullest. I don't
The
know about
normal.
the sharper one.
You know your what?
My dullest,
You know
bro.
your dullest. Okay, let's work backwards.
Smell, bro.
Your dullest
Because
sense.
COVID and sinuses. it's beyond me now.
Okay, I want to say that my
Touch?
no. That's why I feel like sometimes my sight isn't the best, bro. Especially
2020.
when I'm driving at night. Like I feel like my sight should be better for my age, bro. Like I should be seeing a bit better
Okay,
than
to
this.
be fair, I also used to think that, but
You think it's just your lights?
in our defense, yeah, there's no street lights on like
Okay.
100% of these roads. It's pitch black.
True.
Yeah, but I'll be
Well,
driving
you're
with
inside
someone.
the car with that's tinted.
I'll be driving with some people and they'll be seeing, like them they can see things. Or like when I'm with like my dad's driver, my dad's windows are tinted. But that guy will be seeing through the side mirrors. I don't know how, bro.
But
He's
to
also
be
just
honest,
guessing, man.
but I feel
He's just
like
better at
our
guessing.
parents just drive with blind confidence. 'cause
They just be
honestly,
moved.
That's what I'm
They
saying,
they
man.
just
Like
be-
he's also just guessing. He's just better at
Yeah, but this is
guessing
not my
than you.
dad. This is the driver.
The driver,
bro.
yeah.
He's
He's
also
better at
guessing.
guessing.
Even in the night, bro. Like if we're on a highway and we're driving together, his lights will be on.
Okay, for him,
But I
it's,
can only see until there.
for him, it's his job. His condition
That's true.
to see.
His senses have been sharpened. It's life or death for him.
But I also think it's about light, because the number of times I've been driving at night and I see the pothole when I'm already in it. Yeah.
There are people who
Yeah.
feel
So
the
for you, you have
bottle.
a high sense of feeling. What's his
Touch,
Yes,
touch,
but
touch.
during the day I'm a perfect driver, but at night, so I'm on Jesse's side, but also Melvin's side at the same time, because also at night my eyes are not the best, but also the street lights are not helping. So
Mother, I feel like yours is taste.
my
I feel like
strongest-
yours, I feel like yours should be taste.
What if it's
No,
like
I,
that?
She's
I
about
was,
the
you
pudding.
said that we
She's
go
a food
backwards.
babe.
We start with the weakest.
Oh. Okay, your weakest is also eyes.
But when it comes to strength, I feel like our smell is more than taste.
Really?
Because remember, I was telling you guys that I gave up on the gym because of that stuffy smell. Usually, I don't like places because of smells. So I feel like,
I see that.
Had to check, had to check, had to check.
Let's be sure, man.
yeah, if the smells are off, but then also, yeah, taste.
Okay.
Taste also plays a part.
How do you guys
those
feel
two.
about hearing?
Yeah, that's
I
what
knew I was skipping a sense, bro.
Yeah.
Hearing. Where you at with hearing?
My hearing is perfect when I'm awake. When I'm asleep, no.
Nothing. Yeah, I mean that's
What?
natural. That's natural because
Not
your
really.
brain.
I know
My-
some people
my
who hear
dad-
in their sleep.
My dad
Yeah,
has
people who-
ears like a dog. Like he can come the next morning. Did you hear that? I'm just like, everyone
You
is
guys see
like,
like a
what?
TikTok of a guy whose ear was flapping in the wind. They're saying he's a fairy. His guy ear is flapping. So listen, I think for me, I don't know if I have like the strongest sense of hearing, but I'm almost certain that will be the first thing to go for me.
Why?
That'll be the first sense that I lose, bro. Because bro, my ears be hurting, man. Like I use earphones a lot, bro. My ears be hurting. That's the truth.
You use the earphones till
Internally
they
or
till the
like
yeah.
Nah,
externally?
internally, bro. Like here.
Bro, that's so worrisome.
That's very worrisome.
Do
Bro.
you have that thing? What is it called? Where your earrings?
No, it doesn't ring. It doesn't ring.
It's just normal.
It just hurts. Like if I do this, like
You put your finger inside.
I don't put my finger inside, but like when sometimes it can
Pull
hurt,
it in.
and I just tug at my ear, and I'll feel the pain.
Sharp pain in
But why don't you just go to
an ENT? I'm scared.
Bro, what's the it is throat. Eh?
Yeah,
Ah,
no,
yeah.
no.
Your
Throat,
ear
throat,
may
throat.
just be backed
I
up.
might legit have like an infection, maybe.
I don't think if
Don't think
by,
so.
I think
I would
it
know.
would have been worse
Yeah, I
by
would
now.
know.
Bro, I watch those videos where guys wash their ears.
Shit is nasty, bro.
First go and wash your ears.
But also he told me the last time I was at the ENT, he told me it's not advisable to keep washing them out like that, bro. Do it like very once in a while.
But me, I think this goes back to you overdoing the old man thing, Melvin.
Bathing?
Everything you're talking about, it's giving old man ears.
I don't do the
back.
bathing a lot, bro. I won't hold you. But I play my music really loud.
Back, so
I play my music really loud in the car, and when I'm in the crib, I'll have earphones in. So that's the whole reason I feel like.
But now you ask the question. What's your sharpest?
If I had to pick, I'm undecided. I've been here thinking while you guys were whatever. It would be between hearing or smell. But why I would say hearing is because I think my hearing is very good. I think. Like sometimes I'm the first guy to hear some stuff coming.
What does that mean?
In the group.
What does that
Guys
mean?
just see me running and I'm the first only to look back and they see but where I also put my nose, where I wouldn't put it as number one is because I'd say I'm not usually the first. My nose is very sensitive, but in a different way than my ears. Like it's very, it's well tuned for, can I say, clean air? Like I know the smell of fresh, clean air. Like I room with, can I say, less like chemicals in the air. So any small deviation from that, I usually pick up on it. Like and then I'm like, what is that? Like, but I'm not like actively like smelling in the air, like
demon slayer.
What's the chemical profile of the air? But I'm constantly like hearing out for things like what's happening in the sounds. What's happening? My eyes, those ones, I doubt them, bro. There are times where I think they're okay, and there are times where I'm like, bruh, you might. I think that will be for me. That will be the first to go visual.
Your eyes.
The certain time I'm like, I can't even read like a number plate in front of me, and I'm like, that's worry. That's
so
worrying.
happy about how you guys are saying this is gonna be the first to go. Me, I feel like my nose has gone, bro.
You know,
Was it ever here, bro?
I don't know. Bro.
You sign at it, but
you guys never smelled.
yeah, no nose.
But
Bro.
you know how it was cold yesterday? I was struggling at night, bro.
Yeah.
But we're alive. We're alive.
I think I'd also mean my nose is prone to like, I wouldn't say that I have like crazy allergies if I wake up in the morning and da da da. But it's sensitive to like temperatures. So if you remember, my nose can get blocked, you guys. So it's not the most reliable. When it's working, it works well. When it's not always working, you know what I mean?
I think my sharpest is like sight.
How about touch? No, I was talking about touch.
No,
I was going to say touch is my second.
And how do you even measure touch?
By my feeling.
My touch is very good.
You are. Like,
What?
for example, like, let me use myself. Like, if I'm standing, I can tell when someone is standing too close to me if I don't want to. So that's what I would use to measure. Like, I'm very sensitive to people being in my space.
Yeah,
especially when
ticklish?
I'm
Is that a
not
touch thing or it's like
Are you
a-
ticklish?
very.
Yeah, you're sensitive then to
Would
touch.
you put that under touch?
What,
Like
being
someone
ticklish?
not touching you, but they're
But
close
being
to
close,
you, and you
yes.
can feel.
Because you can feel like the heat. You can
air
feel like
pressure.
that.
Your skin
Yeah.
is picking up on.
Yeah.
Air
For
pressure
sure.
is crazy.
No, I've been thinking like someone whose touch is like on point. I don't know. I just imagine like when me sitting here, but it feels like a earthquake.
Bro,
Who's
an
skin
earthquake is
sensitive?
sensitive. But like my skin is very sensitive to, like, I can feel an ant crawling on like my ankle on that most random days. So
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. Like, even sometimes, like, I can feel my. That's why most times I don't have my hair on, like, down. I don't like feeling hair on my neck.
You guys can't relate. Like you look so amused.
Yeah, like,
I know I can
like
relate.
kind of-
I don't like it when it touches my ears. Sometimes I think it's like a cockroach. Or
Yeah,
something.
like,
Then I start
in a-
fighting myself.
It's not fighting with yourself and you realize, oh, it's
You're like,
my
it's just
hair.
my hair, bro.
That reminds me of this time when I was a kid, though, and my mom was getting her hair done. I don't know if I've told the story before. She was getting her hair done in a crib. I know, like, they would be here all over the place, bro. I remember being a child, and I think I was walking, and I caught one of the hairs. It got stuck to, like, my feet or my toe or some shit. And I looked down and I saw it. I didn't know what it was, bro. I just started running. I just started running, but it was stuck to me, bro. And I ran and I screamed, and it wasn't chilling me, bro.
Bro, I've been in a similar situation, but it was like a cobweb. And we were drunk. You guys slapped myself.
Yeah, how do you guys react to, like, walking through cobwebs?
Yeah, that's the worst.
It's
Now,
the
what
most
was
uncomfortable
worst?
feeling.
Why is everyone so scared of cobwebs? But no one has been bitten by a spider that we know, you guys.
For me, it's
I
not
know
about
someone
that. I just be imagining.
In UG who has been bitten by a spider?
Okay, not in UG.
For me, it's
I just hate the stickiness. Like it's stuck on me.
It's the discomfort
that
of how
idea
long
of
it takes
removing
to
the
get
removing
over.
you
the
can't even
spider
see
web.
it.
I'm like, ugh.
And that's why I
Spiders are so
don't like the hot season, because spider webs be everywhere.
Really,
in the hot
boozy
season.
guy.
Oh, this kid's just
As we don't have that jazz where I live, bro. I'm old.
Nah, but I'll tell you this though. Like, first of all,
It's
me,
cold right now.
when a cobweb touches me, I don't even know how to remove it. And like, even if you swipe, it's still there.
There's always stuff in the cobweb, like small pieces of sand.
With
like,
insects,
something
like some
hanging
insect head, it
on
was
the-
still
Cobwebs are you
chewing.
guys
Do you
walking?
remember? Do you remember silkworm season at Budo? When there be silkworms.
on the trees and whatever.
If you think cobwebs are bad, bro, those were silkworm strings. Oh lord.
What's a
But that
silkworm,
one,
you
but that
guys?
one is
The
that's one that
ones
they
that
used to
make
make
silk.
But I
Okay,
imagine
it's evident.
those
But
ones
like,
Yeah, obviously. You guys have
It's not
explained
disgusting.
nothing, bro.
Is it disgusting?
What?
Like silkworms. Silkworm silk. I imagine like it's like a cloth.
Bro, a worm versus spider, bro. I don't know. And that one looks like a it's basically a caterpillar, bro.
No, but for me, still spiders. I watched a movie when I was a kid on WBS. I'll
Which
never
one?
forget that movie. I don't even remember how it started, but
Is it
it
down
was
to the giant spiders?
no, they were not giant, but they were spiders. It was like I don't even remember that, like from start to finish. But I just remember this certain point where the woman was watching a movie over with her husband and eating popcorn. The spider entered her nose, and these spiders were like used to like drain the fluid out of you, so they would find you.
I know what you're talking about.
mummified. You know that
remember
movie?
I remember
It was
that.
so popular when we
Tuxedo.
were kids.
Was it?
No,
No.
it was about
Tuxedo.
spiders.
This movie was
okay,
particularly
I remember Tuxedo, they
spiders.
had those spiders, that's the mosquitoes that would drain you.
No, but this movie, the entire premise was spiders
Do you remember-
sucking fluids.
I remember the
this
name of
movie.
that old giant spider movie, bro. What is it called?
Listen,
I
there's an
remember
old
that
spider
one
movie.
with the
Remember
giants
you remember
as well. I
Queen
don't
Bee?
remember the name.
You remember that
The
movie
animation?
Queen Bee?
No, I never watched
The one
it.
of some chick who over bitten by a bee over something, and then she became like a bee. She got bee characteristics, like she became like a chiwasp. So she like, but she was incredibly beautiful. Like she wasn't beautiful before. Then she met this chick queen wasp thing that stung her. She became very beautiful. So she'd like lure men back into her lair and then like sting them. And
But I know I watched Lord of the Rings. Do you remember that scene where that giant spider wrapped a guy in a cobweb?
chap chap.
See, that just traumatized me. As
So
a
I
child.
found the movie, and I hope you guys watch it. It's called Arachnophobia, and it's a 1990 movie, and it has 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm going to
It
rewatch
has
it.
93% on Rotten
Yeah.
Tomatoes.
That's definitely a good
No wonder
movie.
it's stuck with you, bro.
I'm just,
So well done.
I watched it when I was a kid on WBS. I'll never forget, and now I'm going to rewatch it.
And
as
to
an
be fair, they
adult.
wound you with the title, man. That title literally means the fear of spiders.
Yeah,
you
it
guys
was.
just watching.
The spiders were so many. It was so creepy.
MC1 miners on Rotten Tomatoes, bro. before I started.
But I remember same thing. It's like the way I watched. You remember the first Mummy movie?
Mm.
And I feared cockroaches. bro.
For
Ever
the
since that day.
longest time.
Yeah, because of like that cascara.
Bro, mine is called Eight-Legged Freaks, bro.
Oh yeah, that was the name of that movie.
That movie was
What's the rating? What's the rating?
47%.
But that movie was
It
so
was pretty
bad.
bad, bro.
But even the spiders themselves were so terrible.
They were big,
Bro.
bro.
Off topic, but there's a movie that is like rated 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. That movie
4?
is so bad. It is used as an example in film school.
As a what
Of
a
things
bad
not
movie
to
looks
do.
like.
What's
Yeah,
the
I keep
name?
forgetting the name, but I'll recall some then. It's so bad.
I'm a sucker for bad TV.
Yeah.
If there's any bad TV
Bad
show
TV
or
is different
movie,
from bad movies.
there's a high chance I've watched it.
This movie is used as an example in film schools around the world. That's how you know it's bad, bro.
Damn.
But I enjoyed the first half of it, I won't lie.
Okay, are you still looking for your movie?
Yeah. I think I'm close.
Just it looks like it's even gone in like a rabbit
And
or
you might
other
have like
thing.
Bruh.
damn name,
I'm-
Eight-Legged Freaks.
I remember that movie as well, and there were
Very white
kids
trash
in it.
movie, yeah, like white crazy kids, bro.
No, but if you remember that movie and you're watching, where the woman will turn into a wasp, drop the comment, the title in the comments down below. I want to
What's
rewatch it.
Bobby?
It was like a wasp. I remember it was a wasp.
But you called it Queen Bee. Is it the one?
That's what I'm imagining the title was. Because that's what she was, like the literal
I
queen
would
bee.
really love to see your search history. Like what you've just put in right now to
But I just
search.
know I ended up on about the wasp Ant-Man and the wasp was showing me the wasp flying. I was like, I can't do this right
Too
now.
far. Too far from the truth. Yeah. Speaking of bees,
Oh,
Oh,
you bring it up. We were here in B movie, bro.
so what day was it? Was it Friday? On Friday we were here to record MJPL, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with this place, but they have like a beehive up on the roof, and that was the day to harvest.
why are you laughing?
You know where this is going. So apparently, bro, firstly, just show you that these bees are usually very calm. They've harvested several times while we're here, and it's like harvesting from a beehive is ordinarily not a very dangerous like job, As long as you don't agitate the bees, don't make like any like loud noises or sudden movements, and you don't like shake the hive up, you should be good. I don't know what happened on this day, bro, but something happened that pissed the bees off. Apparently, they were pissed from a previous occurrence, bro, and they remembered when the guy came out.
They're like, great.
You're back.
No, but they said like
But
a,
I
a
had
branch
like
fell.
these
Yeah,
are
but that-
vengeful creatures.
Bees?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
They're just
But yeah,
restless.
they also told us that a branch had fallen on the hive because of like the rain and whatnot. Anyways, bro. What you think? Well, actually, we're having a really nice day. And I saw when the guys walked in, because the guy wore his full thing. I'm like, yo, if that guy is wearing his thing, what about us? Who are like and what about the guys around him? Like, why aren't they wearing? Anyways, so the guy wears his thing, climbs up. Then, the first sign was there was a white couple that was seated right outside. And they start to panic, bro. Start to stand up. The guy is like, as if waving at himself. The chick is trying to help him. They first, like, literally ran on that car balcony, like, for 10 minutes while we're watching them getting stung up before the bee started to enter. And at first they entered and they weren't bothering us, to be fair. But then they started to bother, man. They started to bother. And this guy didn't get stung. This guy didn't get stung. Wendy didn't get stung. Wendy actually just sat in place. But now me with my... I have a phobia of insects, but my sisters are always making fun of me. So I said, I just need to make a run for it from here to the parking. I'm sure I can move quick enough that these bees won't touch me. I guarantee you, as soon as I stepped out there on the stairs, a bee got me, stung me. Another bee entered my shirt, bro. I went running down to that guap, but I'd already been stung here. Then when I got down there, another one stung me at the back of my neck. The others just kind of like stayed around me until they got bored and left. But yeah, man, that was Friday.
Yeah, the running
Interesting
theory
day.
is if you were running, they were looking.
You were
they
threat.
You were threat. Because while we were here sitting down, there was utter chaos happening around us. But me and him were just quietly sitting down. We weren't touched. Then you left. You ran off. You're like, let me go to the car. You ran. So now there's a certain point in between where I also panicked and I was like, let me go to the car, because I was like, man, the chaos around me is actually becoming a lot. Bro, and I swear again, no sooner had I just stepped 1 foot on the balcony, bro, a bee flew into my mouth. I had to spit that jazz out
Inside his mouth, bro.
immediately, like before it got me, man. And I just came back inside and first cooled down. Till later on, we all just left, but I walked very slowly out of this place. Didn't run at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's really some truth to that. When you're covered in bees, just stay calm. That's why you see those guys when they put them bees on TV. Guys just in one place.
Fear
like
factor.
this.
What?
It's not trying to
How
break
many
dance.
bees are we talking? Was it like a
Five.
scary amount or
Well, they
like
had to put...
10?
First of all, we
No,
also
no,
learned
no.
that like incense, as if
Yeah, it
confuses
calms
them.
them
Yeah.
down.
So you should have seen there was incense lined up there. They did like 4 lines of incense for them to like
It's
chill.
like a cloud of incense on the
Yeah,
whole floor,
around
just
here.
cooling on
It
the
was a
floor.
vibe actually when we walked back.
It was very
It was very nice, bro.
You know
I would
what
like.
very zen, bro.
When you,
we
when you
started
started this story, I was like, Melvin must have gotten stung.
Yeah. I'm not the big guy, bro. But man, that white guy got stung up, bro.
I won't
Must have been
lie.
like
I was outside
red.
there with him and his girlfriend removing stings, bro. That guy had
But-
stings all over him.
Oh gosh.
I also learned that incense actually works. Because when we came back, first chill the bees for us. We were calm. Like that. I think that's why we went wrong, bro. Because then we just went and looked for chaos. But we were calm. Like we were just chilling.
Yeah, but that was a nice calm environment. We had such deep, beautiful conversations that day, man.
Actually, looking back, it might have been
It might have been
nice.
nice. I think we should get more incense. Anyways, man, that was it was quite something, bro. And you know what's so interesting? I have a grandma. Okay, I have 2 grandmas. One of them is interesting, the other one it's sad.
They know how to laugh.
So we should start with the sad one or the interesting one.
Sad one.
The sad one is this grandma, one of my dad's aunties. remember when we were younger, she lived in Bushenyi. Bushenyi or Rukunjiri? Where is Bessie from? Bushenyi or Rukunjiri?
We don't know.
Not
Anyway,
sure.
one of them. And we went to visit her when we were kids. I remember when we got there, on her balcony, there was a giant beehive that was in the corner of the balcony. Bro, giant. With the bees like buzzing around. But she told us, don't worry about them, don't bother them. If you don't, as long as you don't like disturb them, they won't disturb you. But the week before we got there, they had killed the dog. The bees, because it was barking more. So that's what we are of it, bro. But we went inside our house, we took pictures, it was a vibe. Bro, like 3 years after that, those bees killed her, man. Yeah. Damn. Those bees stung her to death, man.
Okay, so the interesting
I thought it was sad,
That's
bro.
so sad.
Yeah,
And I think I read somewhere that when bees sting you, right, where your heart stops or what, it's something.
Not
it's not
immediately,
actually-
but it can.
It's not actually the bee stings that kill you, but something happens in your
Yeah,
body.
you're going to
The sting,
shock.
but the sting has venom.
Yes, but
The
when
sting has
a
venom.
large amount of the venom, like several sting,
Yeah.
it can trigger that your heart to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
also,
venom.
it has a lot to do with like them getting into your airwaves. So if they get like Jesse, if it had gone into his throat and stung him in his throat, that would have been a problem. Or into his nose, that's why it's a problem. But as long as they don't enter those parts, they might sting you and to hurt, and you might need a hospital, but you'll survive most likely.
Yeah.
So that's the first one. The other one is just my grandma who like she loves bees, bro. So I saw her on Sunday and she gave me a lecture on bees, bro. So now I know how to like harvest honey.
In theory.
Yeah, I know how to do
Now,
that.
is this other grandma of yours related to the one who was
No,
slain
no,
by bees?
They weren't. This one is on my
Okay.
mom's side. My mom's mom.
But yo,
My grandma.
slain is a wild word to use.
Who was slain?
by
Don't say slain about my grandma, bro.
I
RIP.
was looking for the respectful word to use.
RIP.
And he went to use killed.
Okay. What do you guys want to get into today, man? What do we start?
That was our Friday.
There's too much to. Oh, what if we talked about our weekends, man?
Are we still going?
Bro, we have 35 minutes.
I actually had a really dramatic week last week, bro. But like,
The
you guys should
bee
go
attacks.
first.
Let me see.
You guys should go first, man.
So I'll try and mix in my jazz with the weekend jazz.
Mhm.
So on the weekend, Saturday we shot an MJP episode with
Mother.
Foodies. Stay tuned to see that.
That's
one.
going to be such a fire video, man.
I'm so keen to
Such
see
a
that
fire
one.
video.
And
Yeah.
save your data because that thing is going to be long.
We might have to like chop it up
Yeah.
into parts.
Yeah.
I'm keen as well because when I got my iPhone back from Wendy, I was watching some videos and I was killing myself already.
Yeah.
I was already dying at some of that. Like when Melvin asked, what way is the mustard we are going to use for the hot dog?
Yeah.
And then Jesse, I don't know, in like some weird sexual weird way rubbing the pork.
No,
Yeah.
that was all in your
Bro,
head.
you are
by
doing,
the
no,
way.
you're actually
Trust me,
doing
it was
way
there.
You are being
You're doing way too much,
You
bro.
are doing like the
I was actually
absolute
doing
most.
little.
was
You
like-
guys were telling me to do more.
No, bro's doing this.
Bruh.
And you
I
were
like
so
it.
excited.
Chill.
I watch these things all the time on TikTok. The
was like,
binder.
bro,
The mustard is the
Why
binder.
you
Yeah.
slap it?
Yeah, isn't
But
it
the
so
mustard
gross?
is the binder.
Yeah, but you
No,
were
you
so
bound
excited.
that thing, bro.
as I should, bro. Like,
Did you guys didn't you eat the food the next day?
I gave my pork to my mom, but the sandwich on the way back home was busting.
Bro, you left that thing in my car, bro.
Sandwich.
Like a wrap, like a.
Like
I
a
saw like
foil.
an aluminum foil. I was like, niggas eating in my car, bro.
A new one. Sorry.
I ate the pork the next day with Mama Trinity. That pork was good. And I feel like the chili calmed down through the night. I don't know what happened, but it was really, really
Got
good.
better.
Yeah. I'm actually thinking of trying that recipe with chicken. So I'll let you guys know how
Nice.
Damn,
Comes
I
out.
ate everything, bro. From there.
Next day.
Not even the next day, from there.
That mustard was so good, bro. I'm not just saying it because I'm the one who made it, you guys. It was so good. I had it the next day with the hot dog. And you know a hot dog, I had no onions, I had none of that jazz. Bruh. That mustard was so busting. Yeah, but I ate everything else as well. I shared it with my sister.
Oh,
But
nice.
yeah, there was no power on Sunday. Bugolovi. From
Damn.
8 to 5. So all we had to do was just like eat and
Eat.
just talk, man. I had to warm it in like just the most like ungodly types of ways, bro. I used like heat from water. I did the most, bro, to warm that food. Steam. Steamer.
Yeah.
I just put the aluminium foil in that steamer, bro, and warmed it. Yeah. That helped with the bread, though. It made the bread very soft. Yeah.
The mustard was really good.
The mustard was good.
As for that bread, I really don't care for people, but number one, Carrefour, this is all your fault. Because I don't know when Ugandans caught on that they have really good hot dog buns, so they were out. And I had to buy from, was it a Chefet bakery? And
It was easy.
Which bakery?
Chefet or what? I read that name. I bought it from the supermarket,
Chefet.
but I read that name.
bakery.
Chefet is.
a lady
That thing
chef.
is.
I read
A
the tag
Chefet?
on the...
Is that what's going on there?
Just say,
brain.
You're
please.
applying English rules to other.
To business, yeah.
Those guys. But anyway, the mustard
we
pulled
ate
through.
it.
We
ate
ate
all the
it.
same. Yeah. Now, what else did you do this weekend, bro? That's at all.
Yeah,
Sunday.
that was it mainly like in terms of activity.
What about Sunday?
Sunday, I was just recovering from the busy weekend because we filmed on Saturday as well. Sorry, the phone call, yeah. But do you guys see that?
Sunday you're just recovering. Let's go back to Sunday where you're just recovering on Sunday. Alright, say less.
As I was recovering, I saw that Mexico announced that they have aliens, bro. Did you see that?
I saw it, but the
Yeah.
aliens really...
Yeah, I think it was the height
spicy.
of.
A spicy alien.
they showed all their UFO footage. They did like a court kind of like hearing. I don't know, but like they have like a hearing where you meet like the senators and then you show them the evidence. Yeah, they brought out 2 alien bodies that they had. They brought out. They showed UFO footage. Actually, the alien bodies was the main thing.
What do they look like?
They look how do you imagine like ET but thinner. Maybe
Yeah,
looks
just
like
so
a
they
dead
look
body.
like those
It looks like
aliens from
TV
those 90s,
aliens.
80s
Bro.
TV shows
That's
and
what I'm wondering
movies.
is like, why isn't this like world shifting news?
I feel like people didn't buy it. Okay, I'll speak for myself. I didn't buy it. When I looked at that, aliens, I was like, I don't think aliens are going to look like what we already know they look like.
But what if what we know they look like is based on something?
Yeah, what
that
if someone
there's
actually
so-
was?
No, actually,
prepping
me,
us?
I would believe that theory more of having aliens that shape shift. So like,
MIB.
yeah, MIB or like
Why
what's
does
this
that make?
Marvel?
But like that doesn't make any
Skrulls.
sense.
No, Skrulls. Because I would feel like if they are so like foreign and as intelligent, why would you come as something that we obviously can point and say that's not a human being? It would, for me, it would make more sense
If
for
they could
Jesse to be
turn
like
into us.
cutting his skin and his purple and he's like, man, I'm actually
Really?
an
But to be
alien."
fair, they didn't look like people. They looked
They have
like
2
ET.
legs.
Yeah, they have 2 legs, 2
And
arms.
2
Yeah,
arms.
just so
That's-
they real proper look like ET thing.
look
Nah,
like
for me,
it.
that's a bit sus because
Yeah.
when you compare like other organisms that don't live on like the surface of the earth, they don't just have like 2 arms and 2 legs. You know what I mean? Like their bodies are adapted for whatever environment they are living in. And if we know that there's no environment like the surface of the earth out there, then these things must also be adapted in some way to live in those. You know what I
Speaking
mean?
of aliens, do you guys watch some Apple TV show called Invasion?
Called Invasion?
No.
Anyway, I want to ask a question about that. So, the whole premise of the show is these aliens have come and like they are killing people and it's giving like they want to take over Earth. So people are like trying.
It's giving like they want to take over. Chicks had it's giving. It's giving world domination.
So they are
They're a bit ambitious.
That's so funny, man.
so they are, of course, like it follows like there are like 5 or 4 main characters. So they show like different kinds of people. There's this woman with her children trying to survive, to just stay alive. And then there is this other Japanese chick who is trying to like basically understand the aliens, see how to defeat them, in that usual jazz. So my question is, if you found yourself in that situation of end of the world era, do you feel like you'd have the will to live, like how it's depicted in movies of people like hiding, then they even start like a new world after they
The
are
rebellion,
defeated,
the
like
resistance.
I don't know,
would you
bro.
have
I
that
would
will
do
to live?
drugs. I'd be one of those guys who gave up, bro.
And at that point, there's no law.
If you tell me,
There's no law,
if you tell
bro.
me it's the end of the world, And there's proof that this is now.
First need to see proof.
I'm calling a plug, yo. Before you go, you need to go with those guys.
Give
Just
me your
leave
farm,
me with
bro.
shrooms, bro. Leave me with shrooms. Leave me with. I'm just going to be in my crib, high as hell, waiting, bro.
Yeah,
I'm not going to try.
I agree with
I'm
you.
not going
I
to
like.
try.
I feel like every time I see the shows, I'm just like, you guys, you're doing too much.
You're
Like
way too
already in this world, I'm already struggling to have a will to live. Now you're telling me in a world where like there's nothing of, hey, let me go to Kush Fridays and release some steam.
Yeah.
Let me go to the spa. Like there's nothing like that, and you're telling me I have to fight for that world.
But
like,
every day is
no.
a Friday now.
I'm not going to do that. No,
Literally, bro. Where are the homies?
the only way I would
I'm
want to
fighting,
is
bro.
that guy in Last of Us. Did you guys watch that show? You said
watching
that
it.
guy was like on the farm and secluded.
Him
That's
and
the
his husband.
only way you'd convince
Yeah.
me to have a will to
Now-
live.
now that's
is
what I'm
if
saying,
I'm
like-
secluded from the chaos.
I would fight tooth and nail for a comfortable existence in that world again, like something like what those Last of Us guys carved out.
Dude.
Like for them, like they lived their whole life, they died on their own terms without any chaos
that
from
was so
outside,
cool,
bro.
Yeah.
They had their
That was
like,
so cool.
manicured gardens. They
Yeah.
had their clothes. They'd be
They still
ironing
found
clothes.
like a way to like enjoy life.
Yeah.
But now you see like
Somewhere,
the
man.
Walking Dead guys. How many seasons was the Walking Dead?
First
Walking
of all,
Dead,
that thing,
Of
you
suffering.
guys, The Walking Dead is a money laundering front. That's my conspiracy theory. 'Cause
Why are
still
they
going
still
on?
how
working?
is it still going on? And sometime I was so curious. I was like, but you guys, what is this show of zombies that people are watching that never ends, that even has like 10,000 spin-offs? So I watched recaps of it, and when I was done watching those recaps, I'm just like, this thing is
This
money
is not good.
laundering.
Let me
I
tell
don't know,
Then it
The
makes
Walking Dead was
sense.
really good at first.
The first season.
I would
But I just
survive
like they
two
left me. And then I came
episodes.
back and there were like 10 seasons. And I was like, yo, what do you mean 10 seasons, bro?
It has like 10 seasons now, like 3 sequels, or prequels. I'm just like,
Now,
you
how do you
guys,
survive that long, bro? 10 seasons.
The guys keep dying.
I would survive 2 episodes, bro.
Guys keep dying
After
and they
that,
get a
we
new.
are done.
guys
Okay.
die, they come back.
Walking Dead.
Now you see those Walking Dead guys. Them days, at several different instances, they've forged that thing you're talking about. Where they've now created their own Capcom, you know, it's just that shit always gets
By the
really
end of the
dead.
season,
But
bro,
it doesn't
there's like
work.
a hole in the fence.
Yeah,
Someone
and
does
like a
some kind of
thing
thing that the
jumps
first one
in.
passes through.
Yeah.
Oh, who was that guy? In the recaps, there was always some guy would forget to close the gate.
Something like that.
It's always that.
And then someone forgot to close the gate.
Yo, how high do the stakes have to be?
To lock the gate, bro.
And the guy puts the chain is loose. And I'm just like, what are we doing?
me
Are
tell
we
you
trying
what
to
it is.
Or like
survive
the
or
some
what?
car
The
weak
issue
part in
is
the
they don't
face.
have Africans, bro.
What about the
Because
guys?
we have never slept without the door
What
closed.
about the guys who they killed one of the zombies, but they cut it like in half. So it didn't really die, so it just crawls on its
Then
arms.
it-
But that's the one that bites the
And
first
then,
guy.
like, it's like it comes from under the bed, gets his leg and bites.
Exactly.
Better
Before you
that
can figure out what has happened.
Yeah.
It's
if
too
Walking
late.
Dead was like real life, if I was like that guy and I woke up in the hospital and I saw all that shit, I'm offing myself, guys. Like, I don't have
bite
time
your
for
tongue.
this.
Done.
You're
I see
telling
for
me
me
now,
that's now what I can do. Nada.
moving.
Let me tell you,
I wake up in a
I can
hospital
go
bed.
to like a petrol station and buy Bondo. Actually, buy, you're just peeking.
Buy
It's
booze. Nah, not booze. Booze would not be the one that I use.
The zombies are here. You say what can as a weapon around me.
Weapon.
Or I be like that
Yeah,
chick of Last of Us who just allowed the zombie
You
to
just
kiss her.
allowed.
No, no aggressive dying.
Which
just
one?
kiss me one time and
Which
I die.
one was that?
The baby in Last of Us.
Oh,
when
I've
the
reached
chick
that
zombie
part
came to kiss
I think
her.
I've reached that part yet.
It
It's
was
funny,
like
bro.
episode 2 or
Hey,
1.
was she good? Hey, the guy's
That
guy's
chick who-
girlfriend who blew up the thing.
Yeah. You just allow the zombie to kiss you
Had
and
to
you
kiss you,
go.
didn't kiss her.
Yeah, no aggressive. She didn't have to overbite me.
Yeah,
I'm
as
like,
a- as
I
a-
don't know.
It's
I don't know if I want
interface.
a zombie to bite me because I don't know if. Do you think those guys are conscious that they are zombies and their bodies are just slowly deteriorating and they just all they
No,
have,
they're not
all they're
conscious.
left
Depends
with
on
is
what
a-
you're watching.
A hunger for human flesh.
I don't think they are conscious. By
Last
the
of
time
all-
they've gotten to that point of
Last of Us,
biting.
it's a fungi, bro. Yeah, the fungi has a brain of its own, bro. It's no longer
But
your
yeah,
brain.
yeah, before you
By the
actually
way,
did.
that's my
There's
issue
one
with
where they were
zombies.
conscious. Was it like World War? No, World. It wasn't
It
World
was
War.
thingy.
It
I
was-
am legend.
Yeah. No. First, I am
It was
legend.
this one where the guy fell in love. The two zombies fell in love.
Yes.
And his heart started beating.
That one.
First
First of all,
What is that?
cooking.
You guys have watched that
I
movie?
know what you're.
You ever watched that movie? Oh, you guys
that?
need. That's one of the funniest or like the most unique zombie movies. So like these two zombies, it's like zombie apocalypse. All the humans are dead, but then this one zombie. I remember he was wearing like a red hoodie, and he meets this other zombie, and they fall in love. Like they're doing the normal.
That's so hard. I want to watch
Me,
that.
the
bro.
one I know that had people who fell in love was this one where they had to Simanya steal money. Then they found a zombie with the woman giving birth. Then they killed the zombie baby. Then the big man zombie got annoyed. What movie was that?
The thing is, the names are skipping my mind. But
They
it
went to
called Warm
steal
Bodies?
money.
warm bodies, yes.
Warm
Warm
bodies.
bodies.
Okay. I might watch that.
What's
Warm
that
bodies.
one that was the man who gave birth to a baby?
I don't remember.
A zombie that gave birth to a baby.
Then the big man zombie got annoyed. Then he decided to kill everyone who had killed his zombie baby. And
Sounds
then
like
the guys had
Castlevania
gone
too.
to steal money.
That sounds like Transylvania.
It's a movie I think even it ever had or who. And it even has like a sequel. It's one of those many Netflix movies where it looks like they just have budget.
The money to waste.
What movie
Have you guys
is
watched
that?
Kingdom?
No, what's
No,
that?
what's
It's a
that?
zombie show, but based in like ancient Korea. So it's like instead of guns, they use like swords and stuff, but it's really good. I'll just put that one out there. Kingdom, and I think it has like a
that sounds
season or
hard.
two.
That sounds hard.
It's so I know they set it up and everything. Like what the virus is, they have their own unique take on it, but it's
Korean things have scary zombies.
they are scary.
After trying to Busan and the other one of the high school kids.
They are real scary
Watch it, was
zombies.
cold.
Did you watch
bro.
that one of the high school kids? It was so freaky.
High school kids.
Yeah, where the zombie
zombies
thing
attack.
started from the high school.
I've seen the trailer, but I haven't watched it. That kind of sounds like High School of the Dead. There's an anime with a similar premise.
After that, I was like,
High School of the Dead is
Korean
fire.
things and zombies, no. They are too scary for me.
Yeah, zombies. Yeah, shout out zombies.
That's what we just shout out.
So you guys, nobody even, you two didn't answer the question
What is the
initially. Will you
Oh,
have
yeah.
the will to
Well,
live?
I said I'd have
would have
the
the
will
will.
Oh,
and I'd
Sydney
try and
did.
make
Remember,
life comfortable.
I'm picking
So
Bondo.
Sydney and I are in the same team. We are
Bro,
off
me,
in
I'd live high,
ourselves.
die young, bro. Live high, die young,
I'm like,
bro.
we are going out with a bang. Bro. Look for the boys and we push.
Did you guys see our net worths dropped me and this guy?
Yay.
Let me find that link.
What
You.
the
How
same
is it
net
the
worth?
exact same?
The exact same.
Let me
First of all,
find
that,
that link, bro.
that stuff, it was written by AI, bro.
I agree.
That was
I
AI.
100% agree. That was my first thought. I was like, this is what it looks like. It AI had a Wikipedia, bro.
You know, the fact that I like that this guy is very open with his education background. I was like, I know what to expect. You?
Me, the funniest bit
for me,
was
they
when
said
they
that
said, Oba Melvin did what? There was like a section where they said, why he's private, or what? I just
Yeah,
guys-
my
dating life.
dating
That
life
was
is
the
private.
most generic article, bro. Like,
That guy said almost nothing about
like
me, bro.
they
Yeah,
could
he
have
said
changed that
nothing.
name and put anyone's
Any-
name and it would have
literally.
probably gone. Because for me, they said they said I was born in '97, which is wrong. Then they said I grew up in Kampala. Where
First
I
of all,
my
this guy
siblings.
was born in the
For
90s.
you,
That
yeah, for
everyone.
you, for me, I said he was born in the 1990s.
They just
As
made
in-
it.
Black, could be 90s.
Just in case, bro. Like I said, I was born in the 1990s in Kampala, where I spent my childhood with my family,
Like
including my parents and my siblings.
That's literally anyone in Kampala can say something like that, bro.
Yeah, including my parents and my siblings who I grew up with.
Bro, he just wanted words. He was looking for like he had a word count day. The paragraph was like 2
Bruh,
lines.
This just killed me. And also, I feel like this guy might be a guy who watches the pod because he said that I did my college from Barara. And I got Barara in Western Uganda with a bachelor's degree of law.
In Barara.
Yeah.
So, but you forgot the part where you were cooking in Imbara.
Maybe that's the part
That's the
that
part
the
where
AI
he
had.
skipped. He skipped hobbies and what interests. Cooking.
Oh man, I was very flattered.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's
Someone
kind of
took
cool.
their time to put in the AI
Me too,
generator
actually.
the prompt. Give me article on these guys.
I kind of wish that, like, he had hit me up for corrections because I would have just told him the truth, bro. Like, I would have been so flattered, I would have just told him, given him some of the facts.
Even the
Like,
network
broader
figures.
facts, like, I grew up here.
The net worth was
I
crazy.
have this many siblings, this many. The net worth, bro.
So what's happening with that network?
I'm not gonna lie, I was both offended and flattered. Look at how you want to take it, bro.
There's a bit of
60 million
undervaluation
shillings.
going on there.
My annual income exceeds 19 million shillings. At least he
from-
said exceeds.
Did you say from your hobbies and law? There was some sentence there that
From his
killed
career
me.
as a lawyer and the podcast earnings. I don't know
What
how
did they
much
put
of
for
this
you?
is
What
the
was your
podcast, I won't
career,
hold you.
What was your career?
They said I'm a marketing over expert and brand analyst.
But that bit of
leading over
podcast
what I
earnings
work for a
just
billboard
tickled me so
company.
much. Like,
The what podcast earnings, it killed me because I was like, bro, as in how? How do you know this, bro?
But anyway,
Yeah.
who says net worth also dropped?
Hey,
It went
finally.
up. The day before he had said he's worth what? $900 or something like that.
$987, bro.
It went up, bro. 30K. 30,000. This guy is just selling ads, bro. I swear. Folders. What is folder pages?
That might be
That's
a
a
virus.
is there any fact that you're comfortable setting the record straight on?
Yeah, you grew up
Jesse
in
Melvin,
Kampala with his siblings.
your net worth?
I don't work for a billboard company anymore.
Oh, I didn't do my university in Bar. I did my LDC in Bar, but I did my university in Mukono. You see, yeah. So that's for you, guy who did this article. Bambi, guys were roasting his writing, bro.
Bruh,
Guys were roasting his
I saw the
writing,
roasts and
bro.
I was like,
Yeah,
no
yeah,
way,
yeah.
be easy.
Guys were not impressed with how he wrote this article. But you see what I'm saying? He's just selling ads. Go TV, go TV, go TV. These are all dollars that the guy is earning, man. That guy got us, bro. He got us because we
Used
share
our
these
likeness.
things, man. Yeah, 10 facts about Melvin Ahomuz.
Yeah, like amazing, bro. Like for me, just shows you shouldn't believe everything you read on the internet. But I didn't know I'd ever be the example.
10 facts.
They got stuff wrong about me. That's like some kind of progress.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Next time they'll get it right.
Next
As
time
like
they'll
some-
get it right.
consult you.
It's interesting
Yeah.
being used as clickbait, bro. Because a guy like deemed us worthy to be clickbait. Like, oh, let me use this guy. Someone will go and click on that one. Yeah, that was cool.
So did anything good come out of that?
Just laughs.
Yeah,
That's
because
laughs.
they are banned.
So the pod didn't get like any new followers,
I
any
don't
new
know,
subs?
actually. Maybe it did.
Never know.
I also don't know. You'll check the analytics and tell
I'll
us.
check.
I'm
But the pod didn't post this jazz.
To be fair, he picked right guys to use as examples because like we're talking about it now.
Literally. Now
Producer-
more guys are going to go
producer
and look at
talked,
the
I'm like,
article.
if you produce a post in that thing, I don't know how many people
Would have
ever
known, eh?
known about that article. So hey, kudos on you picked the right guys
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
it's like
Pick the right
yes to
ones, bro.
use.
Okay. I feel like we should talk about Cindy and Sheebah, shouldn't we?
You
we
can feel
shouldn't.
me.
We guys know that thing. I think my take on Cindy and Sheebah is going to be so like specific to my own life and have almost nothing to do with them. But this is what I'll say. I went to Gov on Friday. Not because I knew Sheebah was going to be there, but it was like a nice bonus. I was expecting Sheebah to be there. I'd gone for one of my guys' birthdays. Shout out to him. And yeah, bro, I stayed there like
pod listener, by the way.
is it? Yeah.
is,
Shout out
he is.
Conrad, bro.
Yeah.
Shout out Conrad. I'd gone there to see him, but I also knew Sheebah was going to be there. When I got there, the section where we were, our table was here. Sheebah's table was here, bro. Like she was right next to us. Her table at least was right next to us. Yeah, bro. But she by 3 a.m., bro, she hadn't reached. So I left without seeing Sheebah, man. I was touched, bro.
But did she show up?
Yeah, she showed up, man. My friends are taking pictures with her. Imagine the guys who ended up seeing the Yuga boys, bro.
Honestly, like,
I saw the Yuga
That song
boys.
is
They were right
hard,
next
though.
to
Like-
us.
That song
man.
is hard.
The
It is salary.
I
Ashake boys.
admire entertainers because I couldn't imagine doing like a
A
show,
show like that,
a
then
full
having
show,
to go
and
out.
then again having to go out and interact with fans. Honestly, I would be like the worst celebrity because I would keep on foxing. I would be like the Lauren Hill of Uganda. People would be
Yeah,
like,
see.
Damn.
Retro is coming, and I'm like,
She's
Yeah.
not.
Very
She's at home. She's at home liking that tweet.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of times people choose careers that they like and know they can do. Like I think
Right.
an artist is a type of person, especially someone who goes as far as I don't want to say Sheebah.
Why
But
not?
as far as that,
Yeah.
like they probably have like a very intense, can I say,
Person-
thirst for attention. Like
Yeah.
so she'd
facts.
want to do the show, then go to the club afterwards to see the people's reaction from the show, from like and be that guy who just. And again, I'm not speaking for her. I'm just imagining like from the a few of the artists I've interacted with, they have that car. They
Yeah.
want to be in people.
Urge to be
yeah.
seen.
But also, like, I feel that in their industry, you really have to strike while the iron is hot because people move on so quick.
Quick.
Like, because no one is even. are people even still talking about it?
I mean,
Where we
Yeah,
are still
bro, I
there.
mean,
That
yeah,
is
we
the
are.
first time we've used a proverb on this podcast, bro.
What?
proverb.
Strike while the iron is hot. Hey, you read your students'
Easy,
company.
bro.
I'm not
Easy
such
idioms.
things,
We
bro.
use proverbs,
These
but
idioms.
When?
guys don't take us seriously.
Then I also don't
These are
take us
proverb guys
serious.
laugh.
You guys think we're forging, man?
But guys, they were showing that concert everywhere that we were. They were showing it in Thingy, in Kush. They were showing
were?
it when we went to Terrace. They were showing it.
They were.
Yeah, and when we went to Gab, they were showing it. That's how I know she was still on stage at like 2 a.m. bro.
Who won?
The streets are saying Cindy won. That's what the streets are saying.
Then I'm not
Really?
For me, I think that those are her ups, bro. Because for me,
Yeah,
Yeah, I
because
think Sheebah won.
my streets are saying
See?
Sheebah won. Though I didn't watch anything, so I can't have an opinion on it.
Whoever got this idea as a market, the true
of
marketing
course,
genius.
man. Of course. Of course. They did a good job with that one, bro.
I feel like versus would be a good thing for the industry right now.
Versus.
Mm.
It definitely, it guys collaborate at the same time. There's tension at the same time. There's 2-for-1 special. It's like a win.
It's
I
an
think there's
easy
a
win.
loss somewhere there, though.
I guess the loss is for the artist in that you don't get all the winnings from the show.
Is it? No, I feel like the loss is in the streets. Because
Yeah, me, I
I
feel
heard
like
people
it's
were
just-
fighting.
Yeah,
Really?
the fans.
Like
they were
people
not-
took it that seriously.
I feel like there were
Who
some
said
who were fighting.
Sheebah.
But do you guys have anyone like who you'd want to see go against each other? Me, that's my thing. Like, it would be good for our industry, but like, who do you actually want to see, man?
Who else?
Because I can't
like
like,
to
I didn't
see-
even. If you had asked me this before the Sheebah and Cindy thing, I don't think I would have ever said Cindy versus Sheebah.
I like to see like Palazzo versus Elian Skin.
The streets would love
The
that
streets
one.
would
But they would cook
love.
alien skin, bro.
No way.
They're
The streets
cooking.
would not allow him to be cooked.
That's the
They
problem.
wouldn't,
The
man.
streets would.
But people are
not
just
follow.
talking like hit for hit.
Depends
I
on
would
what
like-
hit
No,
is. Depends on what
eh.
hit is.
This guy made up for his less catalogs in like last year and this year alone, bro. He has dropped like I don't know how many.
How many
albums.
bangers?
Great. He has been on a streak.
That guy's playlist on Spotify has 44 songs.
Hey,
And you
Get
can
justice.
listen from
Get
1
justice.
to 44.
guys know the songs word for word, bro.
That guy knows the words, he's pretending.
sorry, we are sorry.
I would like to see Juliana and Nava Gray.
Damn, I don't know any Never Grace song.
Are you
Yeah,
deaf?
you know
Neither
one, you
do
know
I,
that.
but
That's- she has that
like
one
I don't know
song.
their names, but I'm basing on like their
But she has
voices.
some shit, bro.
Eh?
Their
Never has some shit.
Mob Jazz versus
What's that
what?
song called?
Mob Jazz podcast versus what?
Like, in my opinion.
That might be a banger, bro. That might be a banger.
What did you guys pass on?
What would we do?
Jazz.
Who can talk the best? Who has
Can
the best
cook.
opinion?
Hey, who has the best opinion?
Can cook.
Uh,
I think let's get into some questions now. Unless you guys have some topics that you want to discuss.
oh, I thought you wanted to talk about the Zimbabwe.
We
Yeah.
just saw this one, bruh. So did you guys see that on the weekend there's a new Miss Universe Zimbabwe?
Is that chick who looks white?
She
Is
looks
she white?
She's white.
She is white.
White.
I thought
Man.
it was just one of those things of
She looks white.
she looks white, but she isn't. But
What's
wait,
her name?
She's called let me get it here, but I don't get it wrong. She's called, I know the first name is Brooke.
did Zimbabwe have colonization like essay or like white
Badly,
people
yeah.
think? Oh yeah, then it
Rhodesia.
makes sense.
Was it?
Yeah, so
Was it Southern Rhodesia?
this is her. This is what she looks like for some reference.
Yes.
Bro, and Brooke is such a white name.
She's a
She's a white
21.
woman, bro.
She's a 21-year-old beautician. Her name is Brooke Brock Jackson.
Brick.
Brooke
Brock.
Brooke Brock Jackson. So it's like
It literally looks like Brooke.
yeah, Brooke. Maybe I'm reading it as Brooke Brock Jackson. Sounds like a sentence.
Yeah, bam.
Brooke Brock.
Congratulations to her, man. But it seems like guys were not happy.
Yeah, the optics are off, bro.
I saw
No,
when they
honestly,
announced
me,
her.
I can't. I feel like if we are in a world where a Kenyan was the US president and Indian is a prime minister,
Let me
Then
tell you what
for
I'm
me,
saying.
it's
Let me
not-
tell you how I see it. For me,
For me, that's how I
let me
see
tell you
it.
how I see it. In a world in where we live, Africa has the largest over skin bleaching industry, where they perpetuate all these, these stereotypical. Why is she been here? Kenya, bro. In Zimbabwe, surrounded by all those queens. For me, the optics of the crown even fell off her head. But now let me tell you. The crown didn't agree with the choice, man.
It wasn't made for
Get
that
me out of here.
texture of hair, bro.
But I'll say this: there's nothing wrong with it in terms of she's probably Zimbabwean, and of course she's also beautiful, and she won fair and square. But the optics are off, bro. The
I
optics
get
are
it,
off.
but I wanted to ask: is it one of those things of it's the people who decide or judges decide?
I really hope it was not the
Judges.
people, bro.
Because as soon as she was announced, the guy who was announcing told the crowd, that's not the reaction that you should be giving." Guys were not happy, bro. Guys were not impressed. I expect a better reaction than that.
The implication, what was out in the beginning?
Inflection.
Inflection.
No, actually, there was no inflection. Guys gave them the best
Yeah, man, but I just think it's one of those things where, like, I feel like people haven't like healed yet from all like the colonial shit, man. So
We have
And,
not
let me
chilled
tell you,
at all.
Like, let me tell you, these optics are crazy. Like, we're in a time where, like, a francophone Africa is throwing off the shackles of, neo-colonialism. Like, those are the narratives around Africa. Where this is not helping our cause.
Just
I
looks
feel
off.
like
It's not helping our cause.
I feel like sometimes on a larger scale, I feel like we are moving backwards, honestly.
how so?
Like, look at this situation in South Africa, them being like extremely xenophobic. I just feel like the African thing is not there, man. And then you have the African countries, them guys in the north that still don't even feel like they are part of Africa.
I think it's so cool that those are two examples you gave. Because last month's book club book, I told you guys about it. There was a point where the guy was living in South Africa. He goes there in the 1980s and then again in the 1990s. So they're in like that period of getting out of apartheid. And the weird thing is, first he said South Africans don't believe that they are part of Africa. He says South Africa is not part of the African continent. But at the same time, he says now when he goes in the 90s that the South Africans really don't want other guys there, bro. So that xenophobic thing has been there since apartheid, bro. Guys have been not wanting other
That's why I
guys
feel
there.
like as Africans, we're just like as if going back to.
And as you can see, man, we're going back. Even look at the what? The results from the beauty contest in Zimbabwe.
Oh,
These guys have sent us back how many years?
Yeah,
Man, we
we're
had
being
just
set
got
up.
a natural hair movement at least, bro. Like, the queens could wear their kinky hair.
But then also going back to remember that South African chick who won what was that thing called? Their thing as well. The one who had short hair, that kinky short hair. People still didn't agree with it. They're like, how can that person be the beauty queen? So we also need to decide
she
what
was
do
bad,
we want.
bro.
Do we want someone who represents Africa or someone who died? What do we want?
I want someone who represents the country, man. Like, if they're calling her the most beautiful woman in the land, she should at least reflect the demographics of that country.
yeah, but
In my
that country,
opinion, man,
that country has a large white population.
Not large.
Bro. It's large.
they're the minority there.
What's the percentage of white people in Zimbabwe, bro?
There's no way they're like more
It's
than
not 50,
30.
obviously.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Zimbabwe.
Percentage of whites. Did you guys see that? Speaking of this beauty queen jazz, did you see, those TikTok videos where a guy says, "Oh, I saw you, I like your outfit, can I take a picture of you? I'll send you all the pictures." You know those things on TikTok? So this guy stops this lady in Italy and she's on that same jazz. But it turns out that she's Miss Libya. So she tells him, "Oh, do you mind that I'm Miss Libya?" A guy says no. And she ends up giving him like her whole life story. How she's like a survivor of war. How she is from the Gaddafi family. Again, it was such a wild video. You guys need to look back a bit.
Send it.
It was a sick video.
I'm also curious to see how it
Yeah,
went. So.
it was so crazy.
So, demographics of Zimbabwe, Africa, 99.4%.
Man.
Like, white Zimbabweans are 0.4.
Okay, then that's not justified. That's now just weird. It's just
So
weird.
the optics are off.
Wait,
But I need
wait.
to know what was the lineup at that
Bruh,
contest.
the
Who
queens.
were the other people?
What does that demographic say?
0.4%.
No, like the term.
That what?
0.4 white Zimbabweans.
I don't know, bro.
You don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, even some of the Africans in South Africa are counted as Africans, and yet they are mostly Dutch. So like that's what I
no.
need
We're
to
talking
know.
about demographics now, like
The demographic, the
the
race.
yeah,
We're talking
Yeah.
about race.
where they
But
fall on that car.
My point is,
How can the
we are
Africans be
talking.
termed as black, bro?
No, I didn't say black. I said Africans.
A term does.
The
No.
Africans.
These guys broke it down.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
94.4% predominantly. Shona Ndebele is the second largest. Yeah, those are the ones in brackets, but that's what they mean, like Shona Ndebele.
That's what I wanted to know, because with South Africa, if you check, they'll also tell you that some crazy amount like that. But you'll find some guys who look white are
Now
and
they
the
put
Africans.
others in
Bro,
brackets,
then that
primarily
makes sense.
Indian.
That
Those
makes
ones
sense.
are-
Even in countries like Uganda where race is not a thing, yeah, if someone of a different race is elected to a position of power, it becomes a thing, bro. Because guys are like,
But it has happened
But
before.
we don't find the
Does
guy.
happen
yeah,
before.
when
Like
The
Ian
Indian
Clark,
guy was
what,
an
Indian,
MP.
yeah.
There's
That's happened.
there
An
was
MP.
I think he's
I
called
remember
what
that guy.
Turner
I remember
something
that
like MP.
But now even wilder, there's an Indian guy who is the prime minister of Toro.
See, like it happens, man.
But
I
I,
don't fuck with that
I
shit,
think it
That
depends.
one, those optics are off.
Guys are not fucking.
Wait.
The optics are off, but at the end of that day,
He's a Mutoro.
he's a Mutoro.
Yeah. Born and
Born
raised.
and raised. So it's
Was
like
It's like how
Okay,
What's
there's some question marks there. Are any of his parents Bator?
He was born in
yes,
Fort
by
Does that
birth.
make you a Mutor?
Yes.
So, are you trying to tell me you're Baganda because you're born in Mulago?
Yeah.
no. First, listen,
mad.
listen.
No, his parents.
I'm playing.
No,
But like you said,
no.
I mean, like,
Just look at it like migration. Look at it
Yeah, try to kick us
look
out.
at it as migration. All of us are like, let me say Bantu. But just because this person went to South Africa, they became a South African. As so came listens to Uganda, we became Ugandan.
Yes.
So me, that's how I'm looking at it.
But
From the
you can't become
point
a
of-
Zulu or a Shona.
'Cause you were born in-
You can get a South Africa passport, but you won't be like in that tribe. Like you won't now have. Okay,
No,
you can do the
one I was
cadence.
talking about the real migration. Bro.
Yeah, those-
Yeah.
Oh come on! So there was one. There was one Indian
remember.
fellow.
Even if he migrated from
No, Andy, that's what I'm saying. Remember those Indian guys migrated and were first chilling in Toro and what ginger, what where. So yeah,
Like
I feel
whether
like
you
that's
like
the
it or
same
not,
thing.
whether you like it or not.
I'm not arguing that. Huh?
It's not by birth. Actually, it could be by birth, but it could be birth registration, or
there's birth
nationalization,
registration,
what-
what
But
ancestry.
how come it doesn't work the other way around for like a Motoro? Like, oh, they're the Bator, for them a Bator by birth. Who else is like a Bator by migration? Like, who else? That's probably his best
Bruh.
justification,
Because this
man.
is our
Yeah, you should be asking
homeland.
why you can't be an Indian by nationalization.
But
if
do you
you're
guys
born
ever see
here,
that
but
video of,
Such things.
of black people? I forgot what that YouTube channel is called, but the black people who were born and raised in India. Yeah, that video first of all, was so unsettling because like they all have purely Indian accents.
yeah,
It
but
was so
they
crazy to
look
watch.
like us.
But they look like us.
It reminded me of that video of like how there was this TikTok of this chick talking and she's Irish, and it was just disturbing for me to see like someone who is black, a proper African, but with
Talking
like
like an Irish.
the conquest Irish accent.
You know
It
that
was
guy who
even
says, "Chicken
more
and the kind of
complex
coke."
than that. Actually, sorry, it was not Irish, it was Scottish. So the whole time I was just like, oh my
Like a guy who
god.
disturbs his parents.
Give me a chicken and a can of coke.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like it matters.
I think if that's his best justification, that one will
There's nothing you can do about it.
It doesn't
though,
work like that
because
for literally anyone else in the country.
legally, he's allowed to stand.
But race
Yeah.
is such a crazy thing. Bro. Because race can really like forever block you off from being integrated into that culture.
Yeah.
Like guys will never see a black dude and be like, nah, that guy is Japanese. No,
never.
bro, that guy is black and
Yeah.
was born in Japan.
Yeah.
Even if you were born and raised, it will never
and,
work.
and that's why I'm saying that Mutoro MP is wild. Like
But he's an MP. There's
optics-
nothing you can do about it.
Okay, yes, it's there, but like that is.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like that
Because
has
it's like
happened.
jarring. It's jarring.
You
that,
look
like,
at it like
The only thing you can do about it is outvote, bro.
it's
No,
not even
I-
a voted
think,
position.
But
bro.
we just
It's
have to
not
get
even
comfortable with it because, like, the only way to solve that is by being racist. Like that's the only
Naturally,
solution
also,
for
man.
that.
Only
To
guy-
each his own, but I
only
don't know
guy-
how they are managed things.
The only guy who ever succeeded was Tom Cruise in that samurai movie.
Yeah, to blend it last summer, and he
The
was
last
the last.
The last guy they allowed, bro.
They
So
even made a
like-
movie about him, bro. This guy blended in. Nah, bro. Yeah, to each his own, bro. Like, and I don't think that can happen here in Buganda very easily.
Of what?
Like the prime minister,
I can
being
give you
like,
an
for example, like a China.
I honestly feel
Prime
like
Minister
he
is
has.
more. The Prime Minister is more.
China,
But
man,
like
it's crazy.
Ian Clark has been LC5 for how long?
Yes.
And people love him, bro.
I honestly feel like he has from now it can happen.
No,
But
else is different.
I
I'm
feel like
saying
political
Katiki
position-
That's why I
role.
said
Yeah.
Prime Minister is more.
Yeah. Political positions are so
I
different.
genuinely believe that years from now that will be possible.
Maybe, but not now. Now it's
And let me
hard.
tell you
Now
this,
it's very hard.
Even like the main political set, as in president, that will never. It will never,
can't,
because that
bro.
one,
You
guys still look
can't.
at that guy as like the king. Like if he's like the representation of everyone else.
It must be from.
So at the very least, he has to be black.
I almost understand why there were some guys who were disturbed with Obama. They're like,
Man, I
relax.
get it.
But maybe
man.
that's how they were also.
Man, I get it. Like, show us your
They were
passport.
saying the
bro. Show us your birth
optics.
certificate. You make everybody in Kenya. And that would be
But-
an issue, man.
But for me, given America's history, I don't think that.
Yeah, for them it's different
For
because
the-
the guys who
they
are
don't-
really from there
Yeah, they don't really
are the
have like
minority.
because like the white people who claim to have and do have seats at the table, if they are to go back in history,
They're not from there.
Fun
Yeah.
fact.
So
Do you know why they
they
were
can't.
called like
They do-
Indians?
Come again?
The initial Americans. Do you know why they're called Indians?
Red Indian.
Oh, yeah. He
Well,
Well,
thought
they're not
China-
called. They're not
thought
called
China-
Indians. First of all,
Okay,
it's a-
it's
it's
All the
a
West
South-
Indians.
No, they're called Native Americans.
Yeah,
but like
Native
the
American.
initial term.
It's,
That's
not,
why
it's
they-
an offensive term. But why did they call him an offensive term?
Yes. He thought he was sailing to India,
You
bro.
thought he was doing what?
Sailing to India.
So he thought you had arrived. I think this is the West.
That's why you see even like the West Indies are in America.
That's why they call them Red Indians.
Yeah. You guys like,
Native
oh, I went in there, but these are
And
the red
the
ones.
funny thing is the way he
Yeah, a
mixed
bit
up over
darker than-
Arabic miles and over
He's a
some other
breezy, bro.
miles.
Hey
Yeah.
guys, I have a question now that we're on this topic. Do you think that it's possible for you to be with a white person,
It's possible.
Yes,
like
yes.
like to get married and like you know?
Melvin, is it possible?
Anything is possible.
True, true.
No,
Everything's
no,
possible.
not say.
Stranger things
But
have
also, I
happened.
but also, I feel like it's also now one of those things. It's different if I do it here. You know what I mean? If I do it here, that means it means something different from if I do it over there.
What does
If I do it here, it's a bit like. You know what I mean? But if I do it over there,
This guy is trying to be PC without being.
he's trying to be so,
you know,
so diplomatic?
doing it here is
The
a bit,
winner was how Jesse was having scared eyes, like he's not in a safe space.
yeah. If I go over there, where like white people are the majority, then it makes a bit of sense for me to marry a white person because like
You're there.
the highest chances were that I would do that. Like if you are a betting man, you would bet on me marrying a white woman in a place
The
where
odds
I'm
are in
anyway.
your favor.
But then here, it would be like, bro, you're going against all odds, man. Marry this white woman.
Like, you're really showing your
Yeah,
preference.
This is what you want. You really want to do this.
Because you had to go and look
Yeah.
far for
So for,
Yeah.
Far and wide.
bro.
so for you, the only thing that would stop you as of now is the bombastic side eye.
It would be too bombastic.
Listen,
bro. Like, from everywhere.
I'll be a shaggy side eye, bro. I'd become Mr. Bombastic for real.
Honestly, it's really tough because I briefly did. He wasn't even white. He was more brown. He was Middle Eastern, but still, I got bombastic side eyes, and still like when I wouldn't say friends, but acquaintances. When I would bump into them with him, they would be like, "You're looking for a green card," and I'm just like.
It's a tricky one.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, if this is what it's like for me, then how is it for the other like stereotypical black and white couples in
Caucasian,
Uganda that proper look like you're there for a green
You
card.
always look like you're there for
Stuff.
something.
I'm
bro.
trying stuff.
Yeah.
Because every time I see. Okay, not every time, but there's that thing that comes in your mind. You're just like, Interesting.
It was so
Yeah.
tough, and even like walking like in town, I wouldn't want to walk in town with him because people would even stop me, like street kids would be like, "Hey, you tell wasn't going to give us money."
Can't bargain with a border guy properly.
Okay,
bro.
it was hectic. So
My issue with it wouldn't even be like the side eye. Like, I don't care. I'm doing what I want personally. It would just be more like the compatibility. Like, we'd really have to be compatible.
yeah, and there was even that. That's why I was that's what led me to that, because like man, their history. Then like their history.
He was
with black
Middle Eastern
people
from where?
and Africans. It's so
Oh man.
It was Middle Eastern from where?
that's TMI for the pod, but I'll say
That's
off
TM. No, you will bleep
off
it.
record.
Yeah.
Too much about them. Man. But
Just
man.
from Breba boy.
I feel like from LeBron James.
And those people are like so racist. So sometimes you'll even be telling me like how like their house helps and maids are African and what, and at some point I was like, So
It's a tough one.
yeah, so from that experience alone, I would not date someone out of my race
I
again.
think about it a lot. I think even if I found someone who was like who I'm looking for character-wise, like this is them, and they're say from Thailand or South Korea, I'm thinking, yes, I get along with you, but not about your dad, your
Yeah.
brother, your mom, your best friend from like yes, as we click, that one is okay, but like what about now everything else that comes with it? Are you going to give me side eye when I eat insenene? Because I
Yeah.
love insenene.
No.
I don't share insenene with my love.
I know I've asked you guys that.
Yeah,
that
culture. That's why I asked you guys,
Yeah.
because like cultures clashed. And before, I also never used to mind. I'll just be like, yeah, it's cool. But after that experience, I would not, unless it was like this movie shit of star-crossed lovers when our hands almost
go on
touch
the lock,
its
bro.
electricity.
No.
But no, I would not.
this month's book club book is called The Happy Marriage. Bro, there's nothing
Serious.
happy about this marriage, bro. There's not one point where the marriage is happy in our book. But
Let me finish
that
the book.
I finished it on Sunday.
I wanted to confirm, bro.
the dynamic is something similar to that. It's written by a Moroccan guy. It's written by a Moroccan guy, and Morocco is also very like split when it comes to that class jazz. So that guy is from a super high class like group called, I think they're called the Fez or something like that. And the girl is from like the village, man. But these guys, they narrate how they met and they were in love with each other, bro. And this guy loved the fact that she was from a different culture from him. And like, for him, he was in love with her. But at their wedding, his family was literally like they just wanted to vomit at the class of people who he was marrying, bro. And as the years go on, I think at the point of the book where I am, they've been married for like 20 years.
But you said you read the book.
No, I mean like where they're writing from, the point of the book where they're writing from. Bruh, these two cannot stand each other, man. And it all comes down to that thing, bro. Because for her, she always felt like he thinks he's better than her, and his whole family thinks they're better than him. And for him, he just didn't understand why this chick can't chill out, bro. Know what I mean?
On
So I think
that
that's a
same
thing.
point, I spend like most of my nights reading Reddit posts. And that's similar to like a post I just read of this guy asking if he was the asshole. Because, okay, based on his post and his belief, he believes like he's from a better family than
the chick.
the wife. So the mom has always been condescending to the wife and treating her like Tawi Tegera. These things of where the spoon is supposed to be. You know how some snobbish families can be. So they went on vacation and they had like a fancy dinner at a fancy restaurant. And they excluded her, and he lied to her. He's like, "Oh, we have just gone to like check out something." Am I right? So she found out, and then in the post he was like, the reason I excluded her was because my mom said like this is a high class restaurant. She's going to embarrass us. She won't understand it. Blah blah blah. So somewhere the wife got to find out, and so she packed her bags and left like the resort. She went back home. So he was basically asking if he was the asshole for saying that she overreacted for leaving, And the whole time I was just like, I feel like this is why sometimes, like, yes, we all want to be like happy and be like different classes can marry, but I feel like it's not worth it. Like, the stress is not worth it. Because what do you mean you're telling me, like, I'm not good enough to come? Already they were telling her, like, she shouldn't come on vacation. She's going to embarrass them and what. So would you, I feel like the only way it can work is if that person is willing to leave their family behind. So which is bringing me to the question, would you be willing to cut off your family for love?
No.
You wouldn't?
No.
No.
No, would I ask that of anyone else? Me?
Yeah.
I feel like for me, that's a fully understandable reason for us to break up, bro. I also just saw a TikTok of a guy who drives up to this chick's gate and a mom comes out and is like, leave my daughter alone. She's too posh for you. You're not of our class. You're poor. We're rich. Look at our house. The guy is recording her meanwhile and asking her, why don't you let your daughter decide? Da, 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 da. Me and mine, I'm like, bro, if my chick's mom comes out and says that to me,
Bro,
I'm leaving, bro. Like, say less.
you have to pick your battles, man.
Yeah.
That one.
You can't win it, bro.
I think this is why my friends call me a lover girl, because I'd leave my family behind for love.
Lord.
Man,
And your family loves you, man.
No,
That's
they
the
love,
zip.
exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, if my family were like that, of like,
We don't want you to be with this
I would
person.
leave them behind. Like, I would for
I
like,
see where you're coming from.
I
though.
would.
Because you're saying if your family were.
but they are
like
not.
that.
But that's what I'm
But they are
saying.
not.
No,
if,
no, okay.
if my family respected someone's status more than their character, who they are, who they can be,
Okay,
then,
now
yeah.
that's different.
Yeah,
Just
that's,
imagine you married, like, or you brought home, like, a goth punk rock dude. Bro, guy has like 5 million piercings. What? And your family was like, bruh, no, we can't endorse this, bro.
that's their problem.
Wow.
That's what I always tell my mom. I always tell my mom that even my sisters, unless it's something huge of like, this guy is like dishonest, he's a thief, like, let me say, like, he has an organization and he
Yeah,
stole
he's a
from the
scammer.
poor,
Yeah.
he's like a sex offender, he's like, it has to be like something so huge for me to say, you know what?
But
this,
see, now those are things that even you wouldn't allow. So let's say you allowed something like he's a scammer and he nices you up, like life is sweet, but he's a publicly well-known scammer, and you brought him home, and your parents were like, nah. Would you still go with it?
I wouldn't.
I tell you, yes, you want to be with it.
Yeah, but
But
you're
you
taking extreme.
But
an
yeah,
extreme.
yeah, I've given you the examples. For me, it's about character would be what would determine. And also, I would be looking at people funny, because if you're my family and your issue is like maybe that guy doesn't have like enough money to you, then how am I going to be? I feel like that's a slippery slope, like marrying to please your family. It's a very
But I'll tell
slippery
you this,
slope.
like, all of that comes from a place of
Wisdom.
yeah, like, it's. I don't think very few times. Okay, first of all, that thing is very messed up. Like, if you're ever in that situation, like, your partner's parents do not like you for something that's out of your control, like that, like your
Like
background.
something that can never change.
That's so messed up.
Yeah.
But still, even them from their perspective, they're just trying to protect their child. They're
Yeah.
not trying to like abuse this guy.
I get what you're
They
saying.
don't know this guy.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. It's still messed up.
It's
Yeah?
too
It
messed
is.
up.
And then also the issue is, I feel like there's a difference between them thinking that and them being vocal about it. Like, you know, that's like the TikTok where they openly tell the guy, bro.
Yeah, and they
Relax.
block your blessings. Because I look at it like, you guys, like it's money and status. Like, even you who is up right now, like, you can be down and never come
Just tell
back.
your parents, okay, you give us money.
For me, I just don't want to be. I don't want to be getting into a marriage on some against all odds shit in the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, we're just starting, but
you're
the odds are already
struggling.
against us. bro.
You're worried that in the long run it would like build resentment.
Yeah, like the more challenges we face as a couple, the more likely that is to like add pressure to that thing, bro.
Yeah, bringing up just. But did you guys watch that show from scratch? Just no.
It's from scratch. No,
Just
that's not
it's
that one.
based on a true story, and basically those guys had problems from beginning to end. Like,
Is that why it's called from scratch?
yeah, I am a lover girl. I love love. I'm a love girl, but
No way.
that was
No, bro.
struggle love.
I don't want to
Wait,
do
is
that.
it the one
bro.
where the guy had cancer?
Yeah.
The what's her name?
And
the chick
then
from
Zoe
Guardian-
Zaldana,
Yeah.
and her parents didn't want him to marry her him, but
bro,
then
that
she
show,
married
I
him.
won't lie.
Then
It's one of
finally,
those
when he
shows
had
where-
made it and gotten his restaurant, he got cancer, so he couldn't be a chef anymore. It was just, those things of where like you're at like a sweet part of your life, then some random shit happens. But what I liked about it, it was real because that's what life is.
I won't lie. It's one of those shows where like I can't admit I watched it directly.
What?
But like when you're working, it's there. Just keep side eyeing the TV.
I cried from beginning to end. That's how real and painful it was. It was a real
It's a
show.
good show, though.
And it's
It's a
based
good
on
show.
a true story.
But I think that problem becomes more and more extenuated the higher up the social class you go. Because I was watching this show, it's a movie, it's a documentary, it's called Born Rich. I've spoken about it on here before. The heir of Johnson & Johnson was turning 21, so that's when he gets his kind of like inheritance. They make him sign a will. So he was documenting like the week or whatever, like his life leading up to his 21st birthday, which was happening at a certain point in the documentary. So he was preparing for it. It came out a while back, like in 2001. He was preparing for it and like talking to his friends that he hangs with. His friends. Of course, his friends are also incredibly rich people. But this topic actually came up. Like, that's one of the ladies. She's over the daughter, over the heir, over what? Some top chick, bro. That's how, would you ever date out of your class? She was like, man, I like that idea of over marrying for love, but let's be real, man. Like, I've never done it and I probably never will. Like, because for her in her brain, she was thinking, if I'm dating this guy, and for broke in her head is not what we're thinking of as broke. Like, broke in her to us is a baller, bro. Like, this is a kawa guy. He has a nice house, he has a nice car.
But he has to
enough.
he has to look at the price and worry about like
Yeah, so she's saying, man, if I want to buy a bag and it costs $6,000, I want the bag. Like, first she's used to buying 3 bags when she goes to buy. And for she don't have that to be like an issue in a relationship.
You have to
That's almost, you're
budget,
buying 6,000 for a bag. Like, she don't want to even hear that, bro. And that's when I get, man. Like, if she married for love, she's going to get that ear full and she's going to be stressed and she's going to know. And I'm not as against marrying for love, but I think marriage is one of those things that everyone should be on the same page, or at least as many people as possible. Your parents, her aunties, try and get as many gays on the. You should all agree that, okay, this thing kind of makes sense. Otherwise, those are all like, I'd say, red flags to watch, because once you marry, those are all going to be your problems for real. It's not, they don't end on the wedding day. But anyway.
But I feel like when it comes to that, I would like to think that it's mainly problematic when it's the woman who is
the rich one.
Because you know how your
Well,
gender
guys,
is.
yeah,
You don't do well.
Whoever you marry, you level her up.
Yeah, and also there is that whole, like, as much as we try to run away from it, there are some gender roles that sometimes you can't escape. So I feel like that's why it fails when it's the woman
marrying up.
who is marrying down.
That one is so rare.
It's very rare, but I feel like at a certain like level of income, that gender role should just evaporate, bro. Like, do you guys watch Crazy Rich Asians? Remember the super rich chick? Well, that guy didn't have to do a thing.
But you
bro.
see, the thing is that
That chick
level,
didn't
that
need to
level of
provide for
income
her.
is high.
It's insane.
Bro. Like for them to disappear, that level of income.
Yeah,
is
like
nonsense,
she's
bro.
not
It's
worried about money, so money is not even that way, bro. You have to just like fix things around the house, bro, and like, you have to do that real manly things, man, like carry stuff.
You have to be a total man, bro. You're not a shamba.
It's
bro.
not about
Yeah,
the
you have
money.
to be a man. You
Yeah.
have to change the light.
Yeah.
Compatibility is key.
But so in all this, no one even answered the question.
What
you
was
guys
the
said
question?
But no, we've discussed
You
that.
said no when I asked if your family is against it. Will you go ahead or
Nah, I
not?
wouldn't.
Say no.
If
That
my
would be a
family is
red
against it,
flag,
and also
I'd
if
be
her
like,
family
why
is
are they
against it.
against it? I'll first figure that
No,
out.
given the reasons that I've given you. If
Yeah,
they
okay,
are
then I
against
talk to them and tell them, hey guys, let's be serious.
But that's also why
I don't want to have to cut you off because of your silly
Guys saying it
mindset.
as a stress, as a threat.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to cut you off.
That's also why I'm against like introducing my girlfriend to the family late. I think I'm about to marry her now. Let me introduce her. Oh, we've been dating for 3 years now. Let me introduce her early, before like it gets too deep, so that if they see something that I don't, I can like address it or like release.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
What's
fair.
early though?
Yeah, like
At
what's
least a year,
early?
bro.
Like after a year.
Yeah, like a year.
A year
Let's meet
into
the fam. Let's
dating,
proper meet the fam. Like, start inviting me for family things, man.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm all getting, bruh. I'm starting to think we're old, bro.
so clearly I'm the only one who can fight for love.
No.
Yeah, you're the only one.
I would need to understand. I don't think I'm cutting them off, but I need to understand
Where
why
they're coming from.
And like, why? And if it's like a silly reason, I'm not going to cut you off. But I also have to try.
Or
and
you're
insist,
going to
bro.
strengthen your boundaries.
What does that mean?
Like, let me say, given the scenario that we're given, if it's an issue because, let me say, they don't like her background, whatever, but she's like generally an okay human being. If I was with a guy like that and he has chosen to stay with me but not cut his family off, I would expect him to protect me and defend me.
Definitely
not
have
to
to.
accept like that ready
Because-
thing of they're excluding me for things. If they're going to exclude me, then come and be with me. Don't go with my oppressors.
You know, this thing
I
really-
live with you, man.
This thing is an
What
issue.
more
man.
being am I going to be doing with you, bro? I want to go for the cookout, man. I want to be invited for the baptism.
No,
man.
you can't stand with my oppressors and say that you love
My
me.
oppressors.
Man, maybe the oppressors are the ones paying your rent.
You
They're the
know,
ones who are sending your kids to school.
you know.
Those
There's
oppressors
also
we
that.
hate. And
There's also that.
he has to just
Me,
take it,
I just
man,
think
but
it's
he
one of those
hasn't
things
released
where before any decision is made, I need to know why, bro.
And I
Because
think
like, if you don't know why, how about the next person and the next and the next? It might be the
'cause
same
it's
thing,
going
bro.
to be an endless cycle. That's
I
why I'm saying,
need to know
as an
why, bro.
adult, at some point you have to put your foot down. Like, and that's why when it comes to me, I am apprehensive about dating men who depend on their parents a lot. Like how you've said, like we're in the family
paying for
business
this,
or we're
paying for
paying for
that.
this, because it's going to be very hard for him to put his foot
Depend-
and draw
yeah.
his boundaries, because he'll always at the back of his mind be like,
They have that. They
They have that hold on you.
They still have that count over your life, man.
And like, we shall cut off your.
You don't even have to say it. You'll just fall in line.
know,
bro.
yeah.
You'll know the boundary, the limit of where far to
Yeah,
go.
that's
No,
why
stop
that's
there.
why I avoid guys who have that whole
Like, our allowance won't
family
check in when
family
it's supposed to check in, bro.
money thing.
Yeah, it's a tough
There's
one.
no,
But me, it's not a hard no like you guys. It's just why, bro? Because I mean, if I've decided to marry you, you're my type. What if I get another one
For
who is
me,
the
I,
same
I
type?
feel like this is one of those things where they've met me and they don't approve of me, bro.
Why
What
though?
more is there to do? Like, you've met me.
No, me, I'm saying it's my family. If
They
it's
may
the other
just
family,
not
even me,
approve of you because
Now
of
what if
like
it's the
some
other way around?
random thing.
like they don't like
You
me,
just have to dip.
bro. There's nothing I
You
can do.
don't approve of her, how, bro?
Why?
Like, I mean, I've been dating her for a year.
And I've approved.
Like, I know her. Why don't you approve of her, bro? There's something you're saying that I'm
I
not.
just feel like you guys are just judging because you've mentioned like reached that point of having
That's
like
true.
wifey,
That's true.
but you know how
Yeah,
it
it's
is to
Release
find someone who is
wifey.
like
For
who
love.
is.
It's tough.
For love.
And now imagine like it's that kind of wifey of you guys have been friends for like 10 years. Now you've realized
Yeah,
like
that's
this is
true.
wifey. No, you guys are just joking.
That's
Shall I say you guys are
I told
just
you,
jazz?
I'll fight for love. I'll fight, but we're not fighting to die. Like there are limits, there are rules. I'm not going to mash up my whole life. Like maybe, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not. There's no decision in there which is like a definite that I have to protect my chick from my parents, no matter. No, they must.
Oh, but
be-
there'll be a point where you have to protect your
Yeah,
wife
you
from your
have
family.
to because
Yeah,
like
but
at
I'm
all
not saying
the
your
time.
parents.
Like there's also a time where I have
But
to
like
protect.
family.
but
don't know.
even
I mean, I
your
can't
parents
see it.
because
I just
at
maybe I don't have one of those.
Bro, your
families.
family is nice, man.
no, but the truth is like at
But I have
some
some aunties who
Those are the ones.
because the truth is like once you guys I feel like when you reach that point of you're like this is wifey, that's like now your family, man. And when you get married, that's your family. So what do you mean you're not going to protect her?
in a different way.
You guys, you're giving red flag, ladies.
I'm going to protect her. I'm just not going to cut off my parents, my family.
You're giving and sending me.
No, I'm going to, you'll protect her, but you won't cut off your family. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not saying
crazy.
no. I already gave the
guys who
scenarios.
grew
Of
you.
course, it has to be like super extreme for me to cut off my family, but I would be very
Like
very
your farmer went and
strong.
like killed his
You
Yeah.
know how mad
people.
it is for me to love my family and love my girl, but then decide that I love my girl more than I love my family. Like, I feel like it's easier for people who hate their family. Like, I started watching BoJack Horseman. You guys watch it? Like, Diana and her family, that was easy for her to cut her family off.
Yeah.
But bro, I love my family, bro. How am I going to release them?
No, but like me, I've understood. She's saying it has to be extreme to.
It
It has
to
to
be
be
funny. It
extreme.
has
That's
to.
what
But
I'm
if
saying.
your family disapproves,
You,
and for them, as soon as they disapprove, you're like, okay, even me.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would be, if I was in that situation, I would be disappointed in my person for not even putting up a fight. Like your family just says, and even you're like, okay, like a sheep, you also follow. Like,
That
man,
decision to cut off
protect
the
me
family
from my oppressors.
it has to come from me. Like
Yeah,
I don't
me
know. I
too.
feel like if she even insinuates it, even little, if I even catch a hint that that's what she wants from me, I don't feel like I'm being forced into this decision.
What did we find? Reverse psychology. Okay,
Yeah,
man, let
man.
me go, man. We tried. I'll always love you, but man. Like, no, man.
If only
But
you-
I care about
I will
those
tell
guys.
you this though. If it's her family that has disapproved of me,
Yeah. There's nothing left for me.
okay,
to
staying
prove,
is
bro.
hard, bro.
And I don't even know if I would.
Are you fighting for
I
that?
don't know if I would allow her to be like,
Yeah, like
no, but me, I want to be with you. I might be like, nah.
You would
That one
give
is
up
tough.
just
I
like
might tell
that.
her, yo,
no, that one is in her hands. There's nothing I can do.
hey, she says, I choose you, you allow.
I don't know, man.
Ah,
Would
you
you
guys.
elope? Would you elope for
I'm
love?
not planning to elope, bro.
What? You guys are really not lover boys.
We are, but
I think
Man,
we
Your
might
lover
be the
boys-
most lover boys, you
Your
know.
lover boys with orange flags.
yeah.
They are
But
turning
like,
red.
I told you, I don't want, marriage is difficult enough, bro. I don't want to enter on the back foot, bro.
No, but like if her family says no, maybe asking myself, what right do I have to just elope with their daughter?
But you know,
That's
family
crazy,
is family.
bro.
They are still human beings. Family can
If
be
they
wrong.
didn't like you before,
She needs to do her part.
after you elope with their daughter, now you're the op, bro.
They might even look into sending for you police.
For
Is that
real?
like illegal?
Elopement is not,
Kidnapping.
no, it's not illegal.
no,
Elopement
you're
is
all
illegal.
adults of
It's not
consenting
illegal.
age, so it's not.
The thing is, my family, I can do something about it. Her family, it's up to her.
But
Also,
that
I
one
feel
would
like
be so crazy. I feel
in
like that
people's
one
minds,
is heartbreaking. bro.
elopement is like let's run away and go far. Go, you
What-
just come
what's that
here to,
thing? What is it
URSB and get married on a,
Some-
a
Some and
random
some.
day.
That thing where the two guys will ran the entire movie, bro.
I haven't watched it.
It's very popular. I
Okay, that song
remember.
has been stuck in my head since we
Which
started
one?
this conversation. I am the man.
Which song is
Night
that?
for
Oh.
night. Who did that song?
It was,
I don't
Get
know,
Your Love.
but
Is that
I
the name?
don't
Get Your
know
That's a
like
swimming
the
pool
original
song.
original
Yeah,
one.
like that.
Glory
I
of
think
Love.
it's like from the
Peter
80s or
Cetera. I
something.
think Peter Cetera.
Na,
Or when you were
na,
still in
na,
the band.
The
na,
original
Chicago,
one.
yeah.
That's like a Sunday song.
I hope you're going to cut
Sunday
out my
lunch.
singing.
Yeah.
Zero, you're singing, you sang on mic.
Yeah, love that song, bro.
The song is
I
beautiful,
like
man.
it as well, but I don't remember the name.
It's called Glory of Love by Peter Cetera.
It's
or
from when? The
Chicago.
80s, right?
I think so.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's 80s. So if it's Peter
I
Cetera,
really,
it has to
really
be
love
the
that
80s.
song.
I wouldn't do any questions today.
How long have we done?
140, bro.
Done 140 of just jazz.
Just jazz. More bad.
Okay, yeah. Everyone has posted in, bro. This is the difference between, like, this how you know, just like, it makes me feel like Americans, I think death is normal to them, bro. Because, like, rappers be dropping every other week, bro. But this one more bad, the whole industry has run mad, bro. Guys are protesting in Nigeria and all over the country, man. They want justice for this guy who killed Mobad. How did he like? There are questions to be answered because Mobad has passed, which is not really the case for US rappers. People just kind of assume.
Yeah, death is a bit different over there.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that was a gangbanger probably.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But R.I.P. Mobad, man.
R.I.P. Mobad.
I don't know how to listen to like Naira Marley music now, bro.
Oh, that's a good point. But to be fair, innocent till proven guilt. But
True. But it's a tough one for
It's
me.
tough, bro.
It's a
That
tough
takes
one
her
for
off,
me.
man.
Yeah.
they banned his music off. A certain company that owns a bunch of radio stations in Nigeria has banned his music from there.
All Malian music or just Naira Marley?
I think that the article read Malian.
Oh, damn, those are a lot of people.
But I don't know if it's Malian. It might just be Naira Marley because I also going to bounce in Oletsky. That's a top boy right there.
And
Malian is what? Like
Naira
his
Marley.
label or the.
Yeah, Malian, the label.
Malian music.
Malian music.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go, man.
Anyway, questions. The first one. What would you say is the best date you've ever been on?
The best?
Date.
feel like you should answer this.
Why me?
Because as we've answered this question before,
Really?
Also, I feel like dates are a bit different for guys
Why?
versus women. Like
we just
Explain.
be
when you guys go on dates,
dating.
when you guys go on dates, the person taking you is trying to like wow you, while us were just like
Troubleshooting.
spending,
Really?
Yeah. So it's different for us. Like a good date for us just means we enjoyed the girl's company.
Me too. It's usually that. It's usually company.
I've been taken anywhere like super nice or like extraordinary,
Like where?
extraordinary, like an extraordinary place.
No, I actually, when it comes to dates, I'm more interested in the person's company and the thought they put into it, as opposed to where it is. The where is usually irrelevant because, yeah, the where. When I think about the dates that I've had where the where, I would be like, they weren't like. It was more about the person's character, their company. Yeah, I think I wouldn't say best, but the one I can remember now that I had was, it never ended. Like, we went on a date, like on.
You laughing?
Because of the way Melvin is side eyeing me, like.
He's on that date right now.
It never ended. So we went out on Thursday. Then I was out on Friday and he was like, "Where are you?" Then he came where I was.
Hold on. So what do you mean it never ended? Because you went
Like
back home on
it was
Thursday.
like,
This chick's
Or like it was
a
consecutive.
bender,
Like
bro.
consecutive
Yeah,
dates,
it's
a date
like-
It was a date bender.
it was in the sense of not, it was in the sense of we were having so much fun getting to know each other that we wanted to keep on seeing each other. So I think I would count that as, off my memory right now, I would count that as my best date, like the company and.
Did you guys
like-
date?
Pardon?
Did you guys date?
He ghosted me.
Damn.
I guess it's not his favorite date. That's why I told you, bro.
Okay,
That's why I told you. Dates are different for us. bro.
That's a thing that's so like so random about men. It's like sometimes men do things over for fun, over for the sake. I honestly don't understand it because he's the one who kept on like let me say we met up like 5 times and 3 of those times he's the one who initiated them. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like you guys reached like a certain point and you're like, I don't think you guys think things through. It's like you're like, oh, you see a girl and you're like, okay, let me go out on a date with her. And then when you realize like, oh shit, this can actually like be serious and be something, it's like maybe you initially come with the intention for like a situationship or something casual. Then when you realize like this has
could
more
be-
potential to be
yeah.
that, you dip. It's like you get so scared of like, oh, this wasn't my plan. Let me first.
It's when you bring that up because we were just talking about that video today. The guy who saw the lady on the border, he was in I think a Land Cruiser, stopped the border and told her jump in the car. Like, guys are very impulsive like that. Like you can just see a lady and you don't even know. Okay, some guys know why they have a type, but some people don't even know. I just think that, man, that like, she just touches your heart on that border, and you just feel like, man, this chick should not have to sit on this border. For whatever reason, you feel genuinely sad. You're like, man. So you can, in that emotion, just simply because you have that, I guess, that nurturing thing for women in us.
No, it's not nurturing. You guys are just.
No, I don't know the term, but
What?
like
The
the fact that you can,
women's attention or some shit.
like in that particular case, man, like he probably saw this chick and was like, man, this chick, best of her appearance,
Should
is-
not be on this
is-
border. She should be in my
she should
car.
be my wife. Yeah, I can wife this babe. This one I can settle down and. But she just made that off like a second on seeing on her border.
Yeah, there's
So
that,
guys
and also
definitely have
I.
that.
What if he goes to you because like now he just wasn't interested?
No,
That's
because
a
he circled the block, so it wasn't that. I just feel like
It's fun the block. Hey.
I just feel like men have a tendency to like the idea of something, but not
Not just
what it
men.
actually
Don't put that on
is.
men. That's everyone.
I'm speaking as a woman.
Yeah,
Me,
yeah.
I have dated men, and from
Yeah.
my experience with men, it's like they see you, they like you, they like spending time with you, so they enjoy the idea of being in a relationship with you, but they don't want to actually be in a relationship with you. Yeah, that's what I
One
would
of those
think.
two things is fun. I won't say which one.
I guess
I won't say which one is fine.
when did like it become a must that if two people must be in a relationship?
What?
No, I don't think
sure
it
that's
should.
your
But that's what I'm saying. I feel
Why
like
can't you
men,
just enjoy your company?
just it's really, really good that you've brought that up because, again, I'll speak for myself and experience. Most times, men dip before even having that conversation. And from my experience, men think that something casual shouldn't have emotions, which is like, in my opinion, I feel like it doesn't make sense at all. Like, by the time you guys are like having like sex and doing all that, it's already emotional. So they feel like when you ask him like, how is your day, like you're trying to be in a relationship, but man,
Okay, I
I'm
think it
just
depends on that guy.
being a normal
Really depends
person.
on that guy.
Depends on that guy.
Really depends on
I know
that
some
guy.
guys who will like love you for years, but they just won't ever ask you to be their
Yeah,
girlfriend. But
girlfriend.
they'll do all that like
Facts.
emotional stuff. They'll tell you they love you.
Facts.
They will.
And that's also okay, but like just have that conversation. But it's very rare for men to want to have that conversation.
I think I'm even like when did it become a must to have that conversation? Why can't you just enjoy each other's
It's not
company?
wanting to have a mess, but man, we are adults. Just speak with your
Yeah.
chest. Say what
Yeah.
you want and
I
you
agree.
keep it
I feel
pushing.
like if
Agree
you want
with
to
that.
have bring it up, that's okay.
Bring
But
it
I
up,
don't
yeah.
have a must that I must tell you that okay, what we're doing now is this. We're in a situationship, and these are the rules of this.
No,
but
I'm not
let's just
saying the rules,
like
but I
ourselves.
feel like you should make your
Like
intentions.
ourselves.
You should make your intentions known. Like, I think
What if I also don't know
that's-
my intentions? I just like this babe. I've seen on a border. I don't want her intentions. That's why I hate.
no, you're misunderstanding. You're looking again as a. No, let me not say man that you're doing. As a person, you're looking for loopholes and you're trying to avoid accountability. I'm not saying the first time we meet you should be like, I want this, I want that. You listen. No,
At
like
a certain point.
surely
Now
by
you've
date
gotten to know me.
yeah, surely by date
what's
number
the
5,
vibe? Yeah,
you
like,
should know like
are
what's
we
happening.
just
Are
chilling?
we just
Are we-
chilling? Are we friends? Are we
Yeah.
going to be? Are we going to try to be in a like?
Yeah.
Stop playing.
Fuck,
By date number.
I get what you're saying.
Honestly,
I
by
get
I've even overstretched it. By
all
the
this-
end
all
of
this
the
stems
first date,
from
you know what
we
you want to
must
do.
be in a
By end of what?
relationship, bro.
Honestly, I
By end
feel
of
like
the
by
first
the
date.
end of the first day, you already know what you want with that person.
Okay,
Date?
there I don't know.
Okay, that
There
one
don't
I
know.
kind of agree.
You already have an idea what you
It's
want.
so funny
Like, guys know-
how
guys
we
know very
agree and
fast.
disagree on the same things.
No,
bro.
because let me give it like this. It's like, let me say you meet like a woman when you're out and you'll be like, oh, that chick, I want to have sex with her. But then you go on a date and you're like, okay, let me like see where this will go. Already that's knowing that you just don't want to have sex once and chill. That's
You know what's
already having an
interesting?
answer. That's why I feel like by the end of date 1, you already know something.
I feel like I might be with you on the end of date 1 thing, but it's a bit different for women who you don't meet, like, on romantic terms necessarily. It's different for the girl who you just meet, say, through friends, or you guys just meet out and like you've met a couple of times, but you've never actually been on a date, and then you start to like have like a thing.
But there was
It's
that
tougher.
initial attraction, right?
Yes, but that's now tougher to say, oh man, I want to be in a relationship with this girl. It's different from if we started purely on like romantic vibes. That's when like I can make a distinctive decision and say, oh man, this one I can date, this one I can't. But if we've just been like vibing, now I don't know, man. Do I just want to vibe with you? Do I want to take it further?
You
Might take a
can
bit
still-
longer.
You can
for me to
still
get there.
gauge. Okay, what do you use to gauge? Like, what do you use to determine someone is friend worthy?
Yo, that's a bit too dangerous. Let's move to our next question.
I was about to.
Let's move to our next question. That was a dangerous question.
No, maybe you're running away
That was a
from the
dangerous
question.
That will be for the Patreon Plus.
Guys trying to avoid
Are we on Patreon
accountability.
Plus?
Yeah, see, why you are
Melvin, I need to know.
Nah.
They are avoiding
I don't
How
want to be
are them
audited,
accountable?
Melvin is branding before his chest.
I don't want to be audited. Man.
Anyway, what does Magic have to say about the mid album his fave just dropped? There's nothing exciting about it. It's a question. I'm not the one who is saying.
What does he have to say?
Opinions are like noses. Everyone has one, bro. Yeah. That's yours. I have mine. Yeah.
I told you we have proverbs. But when it says a proverb, you don't react. You don't wonder why,